Good afternoon, race fans. Oh, I am here for it, joined by Mr. Phil Milwee and a special guest commentator, the owner and founder of SimTrack USA, Jose Toledo joins us today. Jose, how are you, sir?
Good, doing great. How are you guys
Excellent.
doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Phil, how was your week? So are you ready for the final race of season 6? We lost you, Phil. We can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mute button.
Oh, there we go. We're back. Okay. Are you
I must have bumped it.
Are you ready
I was
for the
gonna
last
say,
race?
I am very ready for the last race. Probably why I was sitting in my chair too excited to hit the mute button. You guys have got an interesting setup for this final race.
We do. It's a little different.
And I'm very interested to see how it's going to shake out.
Yeah, so decided for the final look for the last couple races that we've covered. You know, there have been about 20 drivers in the AM and Pro Am split. There have been about 20 drivers, or by the end of the race, fewer, maybe 17. Same with the first one. But we're running the race anywhere between 15 to 20 drivers per split, right? Between AM and Pro Am, Pro and Silver. So for this last race, given one that it's Spa, two that it's endurance. I mean, Spa is a huge track, right? There's lots of room. We're doing one race today, folks. And all 4 splits will be on track at the same time, ready to rock and roll. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I think qualifying is going to run a little bit longer to make sure everybody has time to get their laps in. I don't know for sure that we're going to see the split qualifying this time. Nobody told me for sure. But we are definitely getting a longer qualifying to make sure everybody has time to get their laps in and get qualified. So really multi-class racing. We're going to see AM all the way to the pro drivers having to navigate each other in traffic. And I think that's what I personally like that. I think it's fantastic. So, Jose, how about you? Do you think we're going to have any trouble today because we've got all 4 classes on track at the same time?
That's gonna be interesting. It's hard to keep it clean when you got so many cars on track. I heard on the driver's briefing, I think you got more than 30 cars fielding today. So yeah, especially race start first, T1, it's always, no matter what track, it's an issue. And then going up the hill in spot, that, yeah, we hopefully keep it clean and drivers don't get too excited. It's half an hour and a half race, right? So you got plenty of time to do clean racing and catch up and overtake that guy in front of you. So hopefully they don't try to send it on race start with so many cars bunched together. So
yeah, let's not do that. I mean, and hopefully we do see the class separation. Although, Phil, you and I know from watching the rest of the season that, you know, Pro-Am drivers are setting silver driver times, AM drivers are setting Pro-Am times. So there is going to be some mix at the upfront of this race. And so that will play very interesting through lap 1 and 2. And as Jose, as you said, hopefully drivers just realize you can't win in lap 1 or in turn 1, you can lose for sure. And I think everybody wants their opportunity here. And let's talk about standings a little bit before we jump over. The session should be up, and I'll get over there too in a second. But let's take a look at the standings. If we talk about the AM class right now, Michael Zwanenberg leading this out with 2 first-place finishes, 294 points. Now he's 20 points up on second, but if we take a look at Chris Finlay, John Rulin, tied right now for second place. Chris Finlay with the advantage of, I believe, qualifying times or fastest lap across tracks, but the points totals are the same. Bruce Hopkins in 4th. If Bruce is here today, he has been a monster in every race he's been here for, and so that gets very interesting. Josh Butler in 5th, Alex Martin in 6th, Frank Reynolds in 7th, and that's really it for AM class. Everyone beyond that is disqualified for lack of making tracks this season. So, I'll ask you, Phil, because I doubt, Jose, you've watched our whole season, but Phil, what do you think? Who's taking AM class today?
I mean, my money's on Hopkins for sure. I mean, the guy, if he's here today, I mean, absolute standout all season in terms of really navigating track quite well in the AM category. Up, head down, doesn't stress about it too much. We don't see him get involved in a lot of incidents. Zwanenberg, I feel like, has had a really good season. And in terms of just raw pace, I really think Zwanenberg's got Hopkins' number in that category. I just think there have been moments where Zwanenberg has either been unlucky or just gotten involved in something that he shouldn't, or by bad luck wouldn't want to have happen.
Yeah, got scooped up.
So Zwanenberg v. Hopkins right now, I'm really pushing my bets more towards Hopkins. But
Okay.
the thing that is in Zwanenberg's favor for this race is that we got 4 classes on the grid at the same time. Anything is possible.
Yeah, and the traffic navigation is going to be really important today. How's that going to impact pit stop, right? There's at least one mandatory stop, right? So if I'm hung up and I see 5-6 am, if I'm a pro driver and I see 5-6 am cars in front of me, is it the right time for me to dive into the pits, clear the traffic, and let me do my thing? And Tristan in chat says Wanenberg is not driving today. That's a shame.
Well, that is indeed a shame.
That is a
that
shame.
means it's pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered. I think for Hopkins, if he is in the grid.
Yep.
Actually, oh, there he is. Yeah, I see him down currently. He has yet to set a lap in free practice. But
Okay.
actually, he just set in 21.857.
Gotcha.
So that means it's probably signed, sealed, delivered for Hopkins if he finishes this race. But at the same time, again, I just want to stress the fact that with the 4 classes on track, it definitely has the air of possibility for like Chris Finlay or someone else. Because the thing is that if Bruce Hopkins scratches to the point where he is, I would say probably outside of the top 10 in AM, although that's technically impossible given how many drivers we have in AM class. I'm just kind of interested to see what would happen if things were to go very pear-shaped. What would the point standings actually look like?
Yeah, things are going to get very, very interesting. Phil, just so you know, I've connected to the server up top. People saw some weird stuff on their screen, and your pit link is running. So exclamation pit wall in the chat if anybody wants live timing for today's session. Let's talk about Pro-Am. Ivan Zolotarov leads it with 299 points.
Yep.
Got a good rip on Charlton and Steven Music. The story, I think, for all of these classes, look, P1 is kind of run away from them. We have drop rounds that are going to happen. We have today's race. Again, Zwanenberg and Am not running. So again, it all depends on who's here. But the real story for a lot of these races is second, third, fourth, and fifth. If we look here, 278 to 276 to 273 to 272, Bob Charlton, Steven Music, Adam Willie, Edward Walsh, respectively. Man, P2 and 3 are up for a toss today, right? Like,
yep.
Points are so close. That's just great to see. Let's take a look real quick at silver. Brandon Pfeiffer, and I do want to talk to you, Phil, about this one. Brandon Pfeiffer still leading with 294, but tied with John Gray. This has been a horse race this entire season, has it not? And I just blanked you guys out.
It is very much been a really strong fight between these two. Fife got off to a very, very good start to the season with first and second place finish in rounds 2, 3, and 4.
Yep.
John Gray kind of set the tone in rounds 1, 2, and 3, but that 6th place finish in round 4 kind of started to set the stage for this to be a really solid battle to the end. And John Gray's had Fife's number in the last 2 rounds. With the drop round, even with the drop round calculation right now, they're basically at neck and neck, and it's really going to come down to how they perform in this race.
It is.
That's for sure.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. Drew Burakovsky in third, sitting on podium right now with 253 points. Vadik is in fourth with Jace Wright, the number 24 Lamborghini, in fifth. Mike Burkhoff, Terry Driscoll, Rob Kesar, Lewis Ricard, Matt Comiskey rounding out the top 10. We'll see if Dan in the number 92 Aston Martin shows up today. And one more to look at, since we only have one race today. We're not going to have time to do it in between races. Come on, Simgood. Do your thing. There you go. Charlie Booth right now with that second place finish last week, tied with Tobias Gable for first at 274 points. So again, we got another horse race today on track. It's down to these. I mean, and Christoph Art's not out of it, right? 271. It's not as though he's somehow can't win this. Christoph Art's in that running as well. So who are you looking at in pro, Phil?
I mean, TG is going to have a really strong car around here at Spa. It's the Audi. I think it's definitely going to be the stronger in terms of balance performance than the Porsche. I think the thing that Tobias is going to have to focus on is navigating traffic. Charlie Booth seems to be really pretty good about navigating through traffic, at least in the few races where I've seen him kind of like have to do like a come from behind or something like that. So I'm interested to see how the traffic again is going to influence all 4 of these different classes and how the championship is going to shake out. But Tobias is probably going to have way more in the way of straight line speed. Spa's kind of construction, it is kind of like the power of power circuits in ACC. So
Mhm.
I'm leaning more in favor of Tobias, but Charlie Booth is such a tough customer in the Porsche.
Yeah, this is going to get crazy. So, Jose, we you know what? We're going to give you a good race today, no matter what. So I know you said this is your first time, broadcasting and all that. Sir, call it as you sees it, because you are obviously a very experienced sim racer, and we're going to hear. Everybody's going to want to hear what you have to say today. Bruce Hopkins is on track, so that'll get interesting. Matt Comiskey, we currently have 32 drivers out there. Free practice just now coming to an end, and we will begin qualification. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, I just wanted to ask, like, Jose, from the perspective of your experience in ACC and stuff like that, at Spa with the balance of performance the way that it is right now, what are you thinking? Do you think the Porsche really has a shot at Spa in comparison to the Audi R8?
Hard to tell because I haven't driven myself the Porsche. And at heart, I always believe it's in the hands of the driver.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to the driver. If you have someone good behind the wheel, no matter what car you give them, they'll take it to the first place. So
Yeah, the thing with Booth and TG in particular, so both Charlie Booth and Tobias, they're both relative mains in that particular car they're driving right now. So what's going to be a great show for everyone at home is we got two drivers that basically just drive this car and only this car. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see, it's not going to be down to they don't really understand the car or they don't really understand the track. It's really just going to be down to like how things shake out, setup work, and what the racecraft's like today. So I'm super excited to see how that.
that's the best recipe when you have a driver
Exactly.
who's been a long time on the same car and truly understands the car.
Yeah.
They can squeeze the best out of it. So
I believe we got qualifying going.
Is qualifying started?
it seems like.
Yep.
Yes, it has. 30.
Yeah.
Yep, and 30 minutes of qualifying will kick off here. Again, we'll have to see. What's kind of driver numbers? We got three.
We got three different categories that are
Yeah.
showing. I do see from the looks of the overlays, it looks like the Pro-Am and Am drivers are going out as a group.
Going out
So I'm
together.
assuming that means that Silver and Pro are going to go out in a group as well, which I think is actually really fair for the format. It gives both categories approximately 15 minutes or both splits effectively 15 minutes to go settle out.
Yep.
Spa is a big track, so it shouldn't be hard with the number of drivers that we've got in each category to really find space and to get in a situation where they're not going to be held up too much. So I think this is a good compromise.
Yeah, no, I think this will work out well. Again, like you said, I think that's plenty of time. Even at a track as long as Spa, I think it's plenty of time to get somebody out or get your lap out and get a good lap in so that you can really push it. I think it's going to be pretty easy for these guys. Bruce Hopkins again out on track today. Today's so we have a season sponsor here in Jose, again, the founder and owner of SimTrack. We're going to talk about them here in just a moment, but because he redeemed it, today's stream is also brought to you by Tobias Gable, going for the championship in Pro. He is today's stream partner, so we'll make sure we call him out as this race gets kicked off. But Jose, like I said, I did want to talk to you a little bit about SimTrack. Let's go back. And honestly, I don't know how old SimTrack is, right? How long the company's been in existence. So let's go in the Wayback Machine, or possibly the not so Wayback Machine. How did you get started? How did you go from sim racing? Because you've raced with Box3. How did you go from sim racing to then wanting to build something with sim racing?
Sure. So, I've always been sort of a tinker myself. I like, building things myself, electronics, design. I always enjoy doing like 3D modeling and things like that. So I got into sim racing in, I think it was 2020. And I obviously started building like my own rims and like gear displays with Arduinos and stuff like that, and connected that to SimHub. And I was enjoying that, and it got to a point where I was like, hey, I think I can build a dashboard, and I made a dashboard. You know, did the design myself on Fusion 360, printed it out.
Oh, wow.
It was sort of like a prototype. So I built like the case. I ordered the screen from Bocor. I did all the soldering stuff. I got the dashboard going. I was like, it looks pretty good. It works pretty well. I think this could be a product. So I gave it a shot. Started working with a partner. He actually, Ricardo, he actually raced here too. I think he raced the same season I raced on Box 3.
Okay.
So because I needed some help. I couldn't get it all on my own done. I figured just too many stuff involved with this product design and like testing and that kind of stuff. So I was better on the design part, like the mechanical side of it and like designing the case and that kind of stuff. And I needed help with the electronics, like designing like a custom circuit, right? He is good on that end, and so he partnered with me, and he was all right. Let's do this. So he did. He took care of that, like designing the board, the PCB to hook up all the electronics inside. And we launched last year around November. We wanted to launch earlier, but we got pushed back for some issues we had with the delivery of the boxes and stuff with the product.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty recent, as you can see,
Wow.
not even a year old now. But it all came out of, fun and the passion for sim racing. I enjoyed building the product and the design and spending countless hours on Fusion 360, like tweaking and building the prototype and reprinting. And it doesn't fit, it's too big or too small or whatever, or I don't like how it looks. So it was sort of a fun project to do. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. So yeah, it's pure fun from two guys that like sim racing.
Absolutely. That's awesome to be able to take something that you enjoy as a passion, that's a hobby, and turn it into something where you have a viable product. Like you know what I mean? Like you have a viable product, you have something that people want. A lot of people, myself included, want dashboards on their rigs because it provides a lot of information. And to have that, I use a phone. I told Phil I use a phone right now. It works for me at this point, but I've always said, yeah, okay, this is temporary though. I need to eventually get, something
Proper.
Yeah, something, but like that's dedicated, I guess, because the phone can have hiccups. It's running a lot of different software.
There's definitely lag to it.
Yeah, there is.
That's the main issue I found when testing. Like it was the lag on the wireless connection, especially with SimHub.
Yeah, exactly. Now, your product is it just the dashboard? Or do you guys produce other stuff as well? What other items do you produce at this point?
Right now it's just a dashboard.
Okay.
I did have a steering wheel on the pipeline with a dashboard built in, but that's just right now. It's just on the design phase. We haven't even built the first prototype yet. It's just the idea, because we put our own money into this. We already invested a lot, and I think as an engineer myself and my friend, we're good on like the design part of it and like the testing, but we're not good at marketing. So we're lacking on that, getting the word out, the brand out. So I think it's fair to say we haven't sold as many units as we're looking, like to generate profits. Or like, all right, let's try to get the word out, get the, sell some units, and then once we make some money back, we can then start our next venture. Increase the product line, right? So then we'll proceed to that. But the idea, it's on, and I've done some sketches, and I have something built already on Fusion 360. But we haven't started like prototyping that steering wheel yet.
Awesome. Now speaking about the dashboard, then is this connects to SimHub, correct? You gotta be running SimHub on your PC now. Do you provide any sort of like pre-installed dashboards, or do people go grab their own and install them in the SimHub? How does that work?
Very good question. So on our website, you can see there's like the configuration instructions essentially, and we do have our own designed UI for the dashboard, which it's free of use. You can use it even if you don't buy our dashboard. You can go download it and use it. But you can use any dashboard on SimHub or any dashboard, community created dashboard on our physical device.
Gotcha.
As long as it runs in Sim Hub, you can throw it on that screen. There's no restrictions on that. If you want to use your own design, you can grab it from the website. And like I said, you can grab it today and use it on any other dashboard.
Oh wow.
That's also a work in progress. I've been designing that one myself, and I use it all the time. I know there are a few things that need improving, and if you use it and you got feedback, please send it our way. Hit that contact button on the website and send it our way. We'll be happy to improve it and make it better. So yeah.
Ah, that's awesome. You guys will, listen to users and what people have to say and kind of integrate that best you can. And obviously not every user has the best ideas. So I'm sure there are some where you're like, no, you're fine.
We'll filter them. We'll filter them. But yeah, like I said, it's the statement on our website is like, by sim racers for sim racers, right?
Mhm.
Which is true to its core. Like we started sim racing and we started doing this out of fun because we needed a dashboard. Let's make a dashboard for ourselves, and then this came out, this project. So yeah, we use it. I actually have the dashboard on my own cockpit and I use it.
Awesome.
That's my dashboard. So that's how I know if it works or not, because I can constantly racing with that. So I know what it's lacking and the things I have to improve on. But it's always good to have feedback from other people that might notice or might race, especially different categories of car. You get different data, right? Like
Mhm.
say F1, you get MGKU and all that setups that you tweak during the race, stuff like that. I don't normally race F1 cars, so that's something that I want to integrate into the dashboard, and that's some feedback I know will probably come my way if somebody that's racing F1 cars uses my dashboard. Because the idea, or what I want to achieve is I want that UI to be able to display any kind of data for whatever car you're racing, right? I don't want to make it just suitable for one category, like say GT3. I want to make it sort of universal.
Okay.
So you don't have to like switch if you're switching cars, right? Say you're on iRacing and you're racing F1s, but then you're racing a GT3. I don't want you to have to go to Sim Hub and change your dashboard because the one you're running right now doesn't give you the data you need, right?
Yeah.
So
Excellent. Well, sounds like you guys have got it together over there. And as everyone in the chat knows, all the drivers know, I want to thank you so much for sponsoring this season of Box3 Motorsports. You're going to be sending out one of those dashboards to a winner today. We're going to pick that at random at the end of this race. I think the structure we built for this giveaway was really fantastic because it wasn't just about showing up. It was mainly about showing up, but it was also about, every time you finish first, second, or third, you got extra points to throw in there. It'll give you a little higher chance of winning that dashboard. And so, I will say this, we do it every week during Recovery Drive on Thursdays. We do our rig roast and review. I will be interested to see who wins this and if we get to see this mounted to their rig within the next couple weeks during the start of season 7 when we kick that off in August. Speaking of which, guys, I am going to take time because again, this is a long quali session. We're going to talk a little bit more about all the classes. Ivan Zolotarov right now is up there and gonna push his fastest a little bit faster he's up half a second right now. So Ivan really hammered down. Wow. Anyway, and now Steven Music's gonna do the same. What I want to talk about is what's coming up. Everybody says, well, this is the last race of season 6. What's next? What's next? Blue has already put it out there. Season 7 is being worked on. That will start. Let me actually give me 1 second here and let me get the information I need. Qualifying for season 7 starts on July 24th, runs through August 7th. It'll be just like previous seasons qualifying. The tracks are Kyalami and Indianapolis for qualifying for season 7. So everybody's going to have, starting on July 24th, the opportunity to get in there, start doing your quali laps, and figure out where you're going to sit for this season. Now, Phil, let me ask you this question. Again, just because you and I have covered this entire season together, never mind qualifying for a minute, right? Let's not worry about it. We know people are going to go qualify. Let's go to AM class. Who's moving up to Pro Am?
Hopkins. 100%. Hopkins,
Swanenberg, yeah.
Yeah, they both need to head out. Although I'm looking at quali right now, and man, let me tell you, I did not realize that 18s might be possible for Pro Am and Am.
And they're
getting
we got Zoltarov.
Yeah, Steve Music just punched in with a 29-1. So the 18s look like they're definitely in the cards. Bruce Hopkins did a 19.5 just now. So it is definitely looking like people have definitely they showed up with their A game.
They did.
Regardless what category they're in. So I'm excited. But yeah, definitely Hopkins, Wanenberg, definitely a pick for me. If I'm just like looking through the standings right now, as soon as my browser pops back up.
I'm going to go with the Pro-Am. Let's move to Pro-Am. Same thing. Zolotarov.
Zolotarov is the Silver Surfer. He has just been hanging out in Pro-Am, just doing silver-rated things when it comes to the points. Zolotarov definitely should be in silver next season. I also think that you definitely have a really good shot at building out silver with some really good talent from Pro-Am. And I'm talking about as far back as Edward Walsh in the standings right now. Because if it wasn't for the fact that Zolotarov was just straight up running away, I would love to see what a 5-way fight for podium positions would be like in Pro-Am. We're going to get to see it for second and third. We're just not going to get to see it for first, second, and third.
Yeah.
So you got some good talent there.
Adam Willey on a hot lap right now. We're on board with him. But yeah, Charlton's out here today. Steve Music, Ed Walsh. Today's going to get crazy. Now, this is the big one. You got, and again, I think we're down to 2 drivers in silver, right? Who's bumping Pro?
I really feel like I think John Gray and Fife definitely should go up to Pro next season. I think there's even an argument for maybe for Jace, although the standings don't really tell the tale of Jace Wright's true pace, but he definitely has some I think some pro level skill. Maybe one more season in silver, maybe seeing if he can get up into the podium spots, although we've got this race to figure out who's going to finish on the podium. Right. Drew Burakovsky, I think, has been kind of another one of those that has buttoned up the last half of the season. He's got 3 fifth-place finishes in silver category in the last 3 races, which has put him into 3rd right now in silver category. If he's not in silver next season, I expect to see him closer to the sharp end of it in silver. If he's not in pro next season, I expect him to see it towards the top of silver.
Absolutely. Taking a look, you talk about Drew Burakovsky, and I didn't realize this, but we can drill down. Now, this is not just related to Box 3, this is related to other leagues as well, but Burakovsky on 24 starts while racing SimGrid events. He's got 4 wins and 4 podiums, 7 places in the top 5. 7 times he's placed in the top 5. That's a speedy guy. That's pretty quick.
Yeah. If you look at the SimGrid like standings, he's still even rated as an actual rookie class in SimGrid. So I definitely think that Burakovsky's got some real signs of talent. And I think that, for example, Jace Wright, Mike Burkhoff, even Terry Driscoll have really good opportunities if they're not qualifying into pro on pace for the next season. I definitely want to see these guys duking it out at the top of silver.
Yep. Well, taking a look here real quick, Steven Music. Let me get back up here. I know he's in the pits, but I need to see something real quick. So Steven Music for the AM and Pro-Am class, or classes, gets that fastest lap in with a 2:19.132. Ivan Zolotarov right there as these guys sit in the pits. Bruce Hopkins qualifying in 3rd. Steven Tomaszek in 4th. Josh Butler, Bob Charlton, your boy Blue, Ed Walsh, Alex Martin, and John Rulin will be your top 10 for those 2 classes. And now all of the Pro and Silver drivers out. It looks like Pro and Silver are all the same white color on the board. So
yeah, the black badge in ACC is notoriously terrible to set up. So it's not everyone in chat, please don't fault Blue or Ando for not getting the black badges. I've been a part of league management, stuff like that. The way the JSON files are set up and the way it has to be distributed between both the server and the drivers is a pain in the butt. But we got white badges for everybody in the top tier or the top split. So It'll be fun to watch. We got the standings. You can go refer to them on SimGrid if you want to try and figure out where your driver's going to shake out relative to the field. I'm kind of interested to see how this works out with Pro and Silver. Are we going to see another Ferrari and Porsche show for qualifying? Because if you take a look at the standings right now, it's just a gaggle of Ferraris and Porsches in the top 6.
That's the way it has landed pretty much this whole season, though. I mean, they're not, again, we talked about that early in the season. They're not as dominant as the M4 was when it first dropped, right? So I think that's a good thing, but they're definitely up there. Now, what I am curious to see, we got to, we talked about it earlier, Tobias Gable. As soon as I can find him out here. Should be out on track now. There he is. Tobias Gable, the number 188 Audi with a new livery this week. Fancy Esper. We got to keep an eye right there on him and Charlie Booth in the pro class. These guys spent last race just battling intensely for a good portion of it. And so, but a wild card out there who won last week, Retro Coffin.
Retro's been strong for the rest of this season. The back half, he's just been like really strong. He's had some. He's gotten tangled in a few incidents, but he's definitely driving the Porsche quite well.
He is. I think you can kind of see halfway through the season as you look at the results page that he started out finishing 6th. He did miss a race. We talked about it on Recovery Drive for the Indianapolis 500. Comes back, hits another P6, but since then has only moved up P4, then 2, then 1 through the last 3 races of this season. So obviously something working.
I mean, it's just retro being retro. I mean, it definitely, like, I definitely expect there to be a bit of some aero regulation change to haircuts in the next season. Because the double diffuser for the mullet is definitely broken. Somebody needs to do something about it. The Porsche's too strong when you got a mullet. But that jokes aside, I mean, hats off to Retro for really buttoning up the last half of the season and really showing some strong talent in the Porsche. I'm really looking forward to seeing
100%. And just so you know, Jose, we're talking about Retro Coffin there on screen. If you watch our show that we do on Thursdays, there'll be one more for this season, and we'll take a hiatus until season 7 kicks off. But it's called Recovery Drive, and Retro Coffin has the most glorious mullet you have ever seen in your life, and we are all convinced that the hair is what is driving the car.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard you before talk about it.
There you go. Yeah,
it's been going on for a while.
Yep.
If you were ever looking for somebody to audition for like a reunion for like an 80s hair metal band like Winger, Retro Coffin is your guy.
Yeah,
100%.
Forget about it. He'd have it on lock.
100%.
You would never know the difference.
Man, look at these times,
yeah,
guys.
Look at Tom Foose in right now with a 2:17.550 up there at the top. Tobias Gable off by just about a tenth.
It's Tom Foose on the... Sorry, that might be a dumb question, but it's Tom Foose still on the old BMW? Oh, never mind. He's on the new one.
He's in the M4.
I remember he was killing it on the old one.
He was.
Right? The old BMW.
Yeah. I was going to actually ask you, because you mentioned that you're a fan of the BMW, I believe, but I can't remember if you mentioned it was in GT4 or GT3. What a 17.5 in the M4 around Spa. How do you feel about that kind of pace? Is that a number that you can get close to? Does it feel like it's a bit of an outlier?
Not even close. I cannot even get there. I'm not that good of a driver.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, like an M4 at the top of the timesheets right now with a 17.5, that is definitely sticking out a little bit more than we've seen in previous rounds.
It's the driver.
Oh yeah. Well, Tom Foose is a BMW main, no question, and he's definitely bringing the You're My Boy Blue would actually poke me if I did not say. It's like he's bringing the Yitcow racing machine up to the top. So I mean, it's all about that Tom Foose Yitcow marriage with the M4, and it seems to be working quite well for him.
Now, what I do see here, it looks like Tom Foose holding purple in sector 2. Tobias Gable holding in sector 1, but you have to go all the way back to P6. Jarrett Skinner holding purple in sector 3 right now. 36.125. So Skinner, no slouch out there. Not enough to get him all the way to the top, but certainly not slouching. And Gasolina just slapped one in with a 2:17.597.
Gasolina. God. That guy is just, man, I would have loved to have seen Gaz in the entire season of Box 3. I definitely think the standings would look a little bit different with Gaz being able to participate in some more races, because just somebody who I've got exposed to racing alongside him in the other Box 3 series with 949 and Trackalicious, and have been just impressed with him ever since first time racing. So definitely interesting to see him punch that Porsche up into the 17.5. So we got 2 cars in the 17s from Porsche, 3 now, because Charlie Booth just punched in with a 17.6. This is wild.
This right now, as of right now, Charlie Booth, Tobias Gable starting on the same row, right next to each other. Booth will have the inside corner headed into Eau Rouge and Raidillon. You know, T1 at Spa is a little different, right, Jose? I mean, you talked about T1.
Yeah.
But Spa's a little different, right? It's not a Monza. It's not a Nürburgring where you come down this long straight and then suddenly have this really tight, everybody's got to get on it and the compression happens. And, you know, I would say they're all just as dangerous, but Spa in its own unique way. So how do we navigate this today with 30 plus drivers on track, 4 different classes, now 35 drivers total on track? Man,
it's still a tight turn, somewhat slow. The good thing about Spa is like you have plenty of runway. So, you know, if something starts happening in front of you, you got plenty of room to escape, right? Which other tracks sometimes don't allow for that. You're sort of like, you have to come to a full stop and pray that the guy behind you doesn't hit you, right?
Yeah.
In Spa, I think there's a lot of room to just escape in the case if there's any incident in front of you and potentially avoid a pileup of cars. So that's one of the things I like about this track. It's forgiving in that sense, if you can call it forgiving. But
I think lap 1's going to be, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be white knuckling the mouse a little bit, because that run down to Eau Rouge and Raidillon for the first time,
yes, that's when
it's going to be it's going to be, it's definitely going to be interesting. So if any drivers who sat through the briefing or listening to the stream have your ears switched on right now, it's like, you don't need to be a hero in Eau Rouge and Raidillon in lap 1, because you can definitely go to a 0 if things go sideways, if you end up like losing traction or bumping into another car. Because the thing is it's very much, you got to stay very, very frosty on that first lap run down to Eau Rouge.
Yeah, the problem is it's hard to tell these guys not to try to overtake, right? 'Cause when you're in the race, all of these guys are very competitive. They don't want to give an inch, no matter if it's first lap or not. And it can be a 24-hour race, first lap. They don't care. They want to be in front, right, and overtake you. So it takes a bit of I don't know, maybe not being selfish in a sense, and then get off the gas pedal and be like, let's take it easy, just first lap. Let him, I don't know, maybe the guy's like next to you or slightly in front of you. Just let him have that position and avoid that collision and potential mess.
Well, especially if you can maintain distance, right? If you can stay close, either A, you have opportunity to pass and take it back anyway, or B, you know, you force the mistake, or B, keep that. I mean, Phil, how many races we watched this season that positions were won and lost in the pits, right? There's a mandatory pit stop. If you've got your pit stop on lock, and Spa's a long one, right? Spa's the longest pit run of all the tracks, which means all it takes is one little mistake hitting that box. So again, if you can maintain that 1 to 2 second gap, all of a sudden you still have opportunity there. Again, whether forcing the mistake and making the pass, or in the pits because you hit yours right and they don't. So the question I had for you guys too, for both of you guys, is there any advantage? Again, we talk about Monza, or we talk about a NURB where you have that tight T1, right? Come down Hungaroring last week, very tight T1, Hungaroring wide, but still very tight. There's a distinct advantage having the inside line at the start of the race, right? Is there an advantage at Spa with the way Eau Rouge and Raidillon flow? Is there an advantage to having that inside line, or is it better on the outside?
It varies. I mean, if things start to go wild on the entry into Eau Rouge, being on that left side gives you an opportunity to back out And I mean, you can basically just cut the entire left side of the corner if you get off the gas enough. Hopefully, the drivers behind you are reacting like you are. The problem of it is we're gonna have a gaggle of cars going towards Eau Rouge, and once you hit the dip at Eau Rouge and your car starts going up, the only thing you will see is cars in front of you and the horizon. You have nothing. you lose all frame of reference except for the car that you can immediately see in front of you. So if things start going sideways 1 or 2 rows ahead of you, your view is completely obstructed. So it's all about making sure that from a perspective of having enough space to the car in front of you to be able to make that decision if you have to, and then just rolling the dice. You got to pick a direction and you got to commit to it, and then that's basically it. So being on the left side in Eau Rouge, definitely preferable. Being on the outside at Radion, because you got the entire pit exit that you can kind of like cut into. It kind of depends. It depends on if you're on the inside or the outside line going into Eau Rouge or Radion. It's really about like, were you on the inside at Radion, or were you on the outside at Eau Rouge? Because either way, it can kind of like slice in a way that's very uncomfortable for you.
How about you, Jose? What do you think? Is there an advantage to having that inside line, or do you want to be somewhere else?
Yeah, I think like he said, it might be a little bit of luck in what's going on in front of you.
If it goes bad, you want to be in the pits.
It goes to the situation. Yeah, I think it depends on how the situation unfolds. You know.
Absolutely.
By the way, it's funny you mentioned the pit situation, that if you got it nailed, it might mean the advantage. The only race I've won on a league, I won it on the pit stop.
There you go. See,
I was running second the entire first half of the race, and the guy in front of me, we bought Peter at the same time, and I got out of the pits like a second ahead of him because he messed up on the pit stop. And then we spent the second half, me in front, he in second, and I ended up winning just because of that. There was no chance for me of overtaking him. We had very similar pace, so I knew I was just stuck behind him.
very good. Yeah, that can happen. And winning on the pits we've seen it this season, and we've seen losing on the pits too. Mr. Anthony Anderson right now the top, sitting on pole position for this race. Last week at the Hungaroring, a little bit of bad luck getting a drive-through penalty, and then during the drive-through getting a 30-second stop go, making 2 trips to the pits. Right now with a 2:17.4. Yeah, we made fun of him on Thursday. It was fantastic.
Look at that gap though, 3 1,000ths of a second.
Yeah. But right now, if you look, this is not over. We've got 25 seconds left. There's guys on laps. Retro Kaufman was just showing purple. Gasolina is showing purple right now. Tobias is up another 10th. So this is not over until it's over. Charlie Booth, Brandon Pfeiffer all into the pits now. Curiously, Brandon Pfeiffer, a silver class driver sitting in P4, going to start row 2 with Charlie Booth today. Wow.
Yep. That's because he's a pro driver. At least he better be next season.
Well, now, in all fairness to Fife, I got to say, this was his first season on PC. He was coming over from Xbox. It's a huge change, right? I mean, that's a huge change. And so I do think he was qualified. I do think he was qualified properly at the start of the season. Now, Tobias Gable showing green. Anthony Anderson is in. Let's see if Gable can hold on to this to finish out this lap.
That's interesting you mentioned the coming over from the console to PC platform. How different? I've never tried on console. How different is it, like in terms of force feedback and that kind of stuff? Is it different or?
Yeah.
What's
there
the
it
difference?
is. There it is. Tobias Gable. Sorry, real quick, Jose. Tobias Gable locking down. He won with a 2:17.195. 3/10 over Anderson, man. He just laid it down there.
Very good lap.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. That single lap pace for Gable is going to be a huge advantage in sectors 1 and 3 around here at Spa. But Booth is not that far off.
Yep.
A little less than 3/10 between them. And Tobias has got to convert that single lap pace into an average lap time advantage on Charlie. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes out in the race, because Booth has got solid lap time average. He was basically stuck behind Retro for a majority of Hungaroring, but his average lap times were just, he was just punching in the same number basically every lap. So
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how this works out. At least, so Tobias has got clear air in front of him if he nails the start.
Yep.
Which is a huge advantage at Spa because the calamity is going to happen behind you.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting.
Let's take a look though. 6 and 7, Phil. Look who's sharing.
Yes. Yep.
They're not sharing a row. I mean, Fife's coming out one row up, but still, that's going to get real spicy for this race, right?
Every session I've seen with these two at Spa right now, I've seen Gray just at least a tenth, 2/10 faster than Fife. So to see Fife punch in ahead of Gray is kind of a bit of departure from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what Gray can do in the race because I feel like the Aston is particularly strong at Spa because, again, you got a lot of high-speed portions of the track, not a lot of low-speed corners. So it's going to be I really want to see what Fife can do in the Lambo.
Yep.
Can he convert what is some really good results in quali and turn that into something in the race? Somebody who's also been traditionally pretty good at pit stops, so maybe that's where his advantage lies if it's not down to the bop.
Yeah, we shall see. It is going to kick off here very soon. Jose, to get back to your question, yeah, I went from console to PC, and yes, there can be a really decent difference between the two. The force feedback being the main thing is just there's more. What do I want to say? Obviously, there's
That's
more.
interesting.
Yeah,
I would have not imagined that. Like, I would have thought in terms of I mean, you could argue on the graphic end of the things. Yeah, they could differ for many reasons, like the hardware limitations and whatnot. But the force feedback itself, I would have never thought it would be different for PC than it is on console. I would have thought it's the same engine.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you the difference, but when it comes to especially the force feedback, but I found, because I even used the same hardware, so I went, I've got a CSL DD, same wheels, same pedals, everything that I raced on Xbox for a while, and then moved over to the PC platform, and
it felt different.
Yeah, it felt a lot different.
Wow.
There was a huge difference there, and that's why I was saying I think Fife was classified fairly for the start of this season, but obviously has now, over the course of 7 weeks, gotten his feet under him and knows what he's doing at this point. So we kind of all figured he would be a pro driver relatively quickly. So as we walk down the grid here now, a lot of surprises, man. All the pro and silver drivers up front. A little bit of mix in there, like we talked about. Same with as we get down here further in the grid with the AM and the Pro-Am. They are mixed up, so the start of this race is going to get very, very interesting. Yeah, it's just amazing to me.
I've seen some of the coolest liveries right now.
Hey, these guys bang them out when it comes to liveries. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I love
Very
Butler's.
nice liveries.
I love Butler's Fanta livery. It's one of my favorites this season. We get down to your boy Blue right there. Vatic in the numbers. The only Bentley on track today, I believe. Still Vatic. Edward Walsh, the number 19. Starting off, and then the only McLaren. And there's Alex Martin, another great livery. Always from Alex. Mr. John Rulin.
And that's the only Lexus on track as well, right?
I believe so, yeah. He might be the only one this week. Same with Terrell Scenes Taylor in the only Honda. Kenny O'Connor and Mr. Adam Willey going to round it out this week. Adam Willey starting from the back.
Yeah, he mentioned in chat, I think he had a game crash.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That has kind of unfortunately set the stage for what's going to need to be a good recovery for him.
Yeah, it is. I wonder if he's going to end up pit starting then. Yeah, he's no longer on. He's no longer in there. That's why.
That was a 17.412 D Colin. And then yeah. Go ahead.
No, sorry. The pole was a 17.1.
Oh, 17. Oh, yeah. I forgot. TG
Gable
punched in with a 47.1.
Yeah.
And then it was 217
4
412 from Anderson and a 415
yes
from Foose. So, yeah.
And I didn't realize this,
margins.
but apparently we're night racing, boys.
it's gonna be tough. Spa at night. There's not a lot of illumination in the outside of the start finish area and on the rush down to Eau Rouge and Radeon. So it's gonna be tough. But I think night racing at Spa is a lot of fun if you can get settled into a rhythm.
I love night races. I think it adds more to it. Because normally when you go racing on the sim, well, usually you get perfect day, right? Perfect ideal conditions.
Yep.
So every time I see a race at night, it makes it feel more real for me. I don't know if it's speedy, but it just give it a touch of realism, I guess. More challenging conditions. And
I think whenever I've done endurance racing, I prefer night stints. I prefer night racing. I think it's because I'm not very good at like figuring out like braking points and stuff like that. So I kind of like learn to like drive by a certain feeling. And at night, that's
the way to go, right?
That's the majority of what you're doing. But yeah, I love night racing.
Now raining, I hate.
Yeah,
hate rainy conditions.
You know what?
That's my worst nightmare.
I will take rain. I will take rain, provided it's steady rain. Right? If it's going to rain for the whole race, let me put the wets on. Stays rainy for the whole race. Now, that doesn't always work out for people like your boy Blue, who sometimes in the middle of the race decides to throw the dries back on there while it's still raining. The worst race I ever had was at Spa. It was on console, and it went from dry to rain to dry in the first 15 minutes of the race, and it was a 2-hour race. So like
cool.
Everybody's in the pits 3 times in the first 15 minutes. It's like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. This is insane. So, guys, we are ready for this though, as the drivers get set up for this formation lap. Jose, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Don't forget, guys, exclamation pit wall in the chat will get you the link, the live timing for this race. You guys can sit up and watch your favorite drivers, make comparisons. Phil's our numbers man over there, so we will get that all set up. Also, stick around, because remember, after today's race, we're going to hang out for a few minutes. We're going to talk about the season, and we got 2 great prizes to give away from SimTrack USA and Next Level Racing, and Jose joining us to commentate this. Jose, Phil and I will talk a lot. Feel free to jump in anytime, man.
All right.
Anytime. And you know what? D. Collins Racing in chat says, good to see an Audi on the pole. Phil, you know I'm an Audi man. You know I love that car. You know if I hit that Powerball on Monday, I'm going to buy an R8. So did you think we'd see that? And we're about to kick the race off. Did you think we'd see an Audi on pole for the finale of the race and possibly the season championship?
Yeah, I think the Audi's strong around here. And I think TG has been kind of like putting in a really good show in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really it's slippery in a straight line. The thing that is going to be tough, I think, for TG is dealing with Sector 2 and getting chased down by an M4, which is a stronger car from like an aero perspective.
Gotcha.
Same with the Porsches, stronger from an aero perspective. I expect them to be faster than TG pretty noticeably in Sector 2.
Well, we're going to find out here in lap 1 as we come down to the line. Now, don't forget, Spa is shorter. Lap 1, we come down to the start line on this side of the pits, the finish line on the back side of the pits. So the first lap will be shorter for this race. And there we go. We are green for the finale of season 6 here at Box 3 Motorsports. Anderson tucking in behind TG and letting him have it up the front. And so far, so good. And wow, that got really weird.
Yeah.
Things got weird for a minute. We do have some contact. We may have
some server issue.
Yeah, we might.
That could just be lag on your end, though. So we'll hopefully we'll sit tight, and it'll shake out. But it looks like it could just be lag on your client.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like it might have been just lag, like you said, because
let's hope so.
All the cars still on the track, and they seem to be following each other just fine.
Yep, I've got 35 drivers, so yeah, it may have just been a weird laggy thing on my end.
Your end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. It scared me. I was like, oh god, no.
Well, we've seen it before. Jarrett Skinner now with trouble dropping quickly through the ranks. So Skinner off track. We have Ed Walsh, Tristan Jonendijk with contact at some point recently, but running very close now. Oh, let's back up here to the front. Tobias Gable leads out over Anthony Anderson by 4/10. Tom Foose right there as well. So the train has begun.
Yep.
So no incidents?
It did look like there was some contact, but it didn't look like we had
Nothing
anything
major, right?
we didn't have anything come apart at like Eau Rouge or into Lacombe for the first time. The thing that I feel like is going to be now the thing we got to survive through is going through the bus stop for the first time and then that run down to Eau Rouge the second time. Because Eau Rouge, as everybody has probably known either from sim racing or from the unfortunate tragedy we experienced in the real world, is that the blind crest at Radion, like even if you've got lap 2, it's entirely possible. Look at Anthony.
Anderson through the bus stop says, I'm going to take it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he took it.
Little argy-bargy there to take up P1 over Tobias Gable. Tom Foose looking to make a move as well. Foose setting the fastest lap for that first one.
So a little bit capitalize on that move by Anderson.
Anderson is just throwing it down.
And
now
TG
is in.
Now.
Oh, wow. 3 wide into Eau Rouge. Okay. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to hold on to my chair.
Making the best of that fight in front of him. He's just waiting for them to battle it out and take that opportunistic overtake, right?
Now, here's the thing. Ando's going to be kind of hung out a little bit. TG's in the draft. The only thing saving him right now is the other championship contender, Charlie Booth, on the outside going into Lacombe. TG's in a box.
Where did Booth come
from?
Right?
Oh, no. And there's contact.
Oh, that's top 3, right?
Oh,
that's unfortunate.
That is way bad.
And that Audi has a lot of damage.
Yep.
That Audi has a lot of damage. I think Booth has a lot of damage as well.
Yeah.
He hit the wall pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. TG is...
Oh, man.
That right there, cooler heads could have prevailed in that situation 100%. They were pretty much all in the same shopping cart going into turn.
They really were. That
going into Lacombe.
Unbelievable.
They were going 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide plus Charlie Booth on the attack. I don't even know where Booth came from. He came out of nowhere to join that pack. So really laid it down to get up there with him. And then we all find ourselves in some trouble as now Tobias Gable is in the pits, had to drop back. He will be suffering the rest of this race.
Well, the person who's suffering the most right now, from what I can tell, well, actually, I don't know if my side isn't updated yet. I'm looking to try and figure out where Booth is relative to Tobias.
Charlie Booth in 18th right now, stayed out on track. And trying to find Anderson too. Anderson falling back pretty hard, but I don't...
He's in 10th right now.
Is he? Okay. Yeah,
so that was top 3, which most likely they all have some car damage. Do you think this will give a shot at winning the race for Gasolina? Do you think now he's got the upper hand if he keeps it cool and no damage? Or is there a big difference in pace that they can, fix the car, come back at him?
I'll tell you who Gaz has got to worry about right now. That's Tom Foose.
Okay.
That's going to be Tom Foose. But Gaz setting purple, just as I say that. Jace Wright and Dan in the number 92 car coming together. Dan losing 1 spot. We got a horse race here with Jace Wright leading these guys. Brady Lloyd Davis, Drew Burakovsky, all involved in this pack, and I head back up again.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if anybody's going to try and pull the long run out of this to try and salvage something, because we got Gable in the pits. I'm looking right now trying to figure out who all's pitted. Looks like Adam Willie's in the pits. Vadik Ostitgev.
Yep, Vadik's already in the pits.
So
TG in the chat taking ownership, saying that was his mistake. Alex Martin now dropping back with contact with someone. Bob Charlton and Josh Butler going to go to it.
Does look like Anderson is staying out right now.
Yeah,
he's currently in 10th. He's in 10th. Booth moving up now. Did find his way around Timothy Glendenning.
Do we have replays? Do we normally replay like the incident or?
Typically no.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, that's fine. I just wanted
I want to get that organized. I do want to get that organized.
No, that's cool. I just wanted to see what went down because I was looking at it and it seemed to me like they were coming up on the braking zone, but they were still traveling in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what unfolded there that, caused the three cars, like, what started that chain of events.
So you see there in chat, TG and Vatic both saying ping at the start was wild. It was not just on my end. The second we went green, things got crazy for people, apparently. Now Retro Coffin being chased down by Dimitri Athwal and Louis Ricard.
Yeah. I'm looking right now, just trying to get an understanding of what's the relative pace of everyone.
Athwal and Lewis knocking boots. Christoph Art's right there joining that group now. Oof.
Icer with the fastest lap now.
Yeah. And Fife's got a little bit of a buffer. He's got Tom Foose behind him. So John Gray's got to find his way around Tom Foose and Fife if he wants to take this. Retro Coffin. Last lap was a 20.0. But again, I really feel like the first two laps, we don't have a good reference yet of what people's true pace is.
Mm-hmm. Louis Ricard, Christoph Arts, Dimitri Athwal battling up through radio. Down the Kemmel Straight now. Wow. What a start. And that really was a shame, too, to see those front, I mean, not just race front runners, but also the season front runners coming together like that.
So I'm looking right now, looking at Ando's car, and he's staying out. He's got some damage on it. It is visible, but it doesn't look like it's hurting him too much. One thing I am noticing, and I don't know if he's seeing it on this end or not, but I am seeing a little bit of light flashing under braking, and with it being a night race, that's going to be pretty tricky to deal with. I imagine that if he's decided to stay out this long, that if he goes into pits for the mandatory, he's probably not going to try and repair the damage. So it's only going to get darker and a little bit trickier for Anthony to navigate. So it's just something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Actually, he's got some cars going off in front of him. It looks like that might be Louis Ricard.
Louis Ricard and Christoph Arts swung out wide. Anderson now on the back end of Louis Ricard. Matt Comiskey taking up 2 spots with that. There's Anderson. Yeah, I looked at Anderson's car right after the incident and didn't look like something he'd have to head in for. Anderson looking to make up spots. Charlie Booth has gotten himself back up into P16 at this point and is now running down Drew Burakovsky. Gasolina with the new fastest lap over Brandon Pfeiffer. Fife holding that gap, though, about 7 to 9 tenths to Gaz. And Tom Foose the same, that gap kind of holding. So really going to be curious to see Brandon Pfeiffer, a silver class driver, if he's going to be able to chase down Gaz or look to just stay ahead of Tom Foose throughout the entirety of this race. Lots of time left with 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Great views coming up over the hill there as we watch these guys. Christoph Arts now getting up on the back end of Matt Comiskey. Charlie Booth takes up P15 as Drew Burakovsky loses a bunch of spots. I love focusing on Comiskey's car. It's my favorite.
What makes it your favorite?
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to answer that question, sir. Take a look. Now we talked about Fife and Foose. Now on Foose closing in on Brandon Pfeiffer.
Yeah, so Foose, again, I just suspect that the M4 is going to be stronger than the Lambo around here.
Mm-hmm.
But Fife is totally welcome to prove me wrong for the rest of the stream. So it's up to you, Fife. But M4 I've always felt like is a very good car from an aeromechanical grip perspective. So it's definitely fast enough to hang in sectors 1 and 2, but again, with its aero and mechanical advantage, I feel like it's a really strong car for Sector 2. So it's going to be interesting to see. In fact, I need to jump over to pit wall and just take a look at Tom Foose and Fife to kind of get an understanding. Like the margins right now between them in Sector 2 is pretty slim, like less than a tenth right now.
I think the BMW might struggle with the top speed though against the Lambo. What do you think?
I think so. I think you're right in that.
That's what the struggle is, right?
I feel like if Tom is gonna make the move anywhere, if I were Tom, I would be looking at going into Ravage or No Name Corner, but probably the primary passing opportunity is for him to get a good run out of Poolholm, the double downhill left-hander, going in to Lafang for the chicane right before you go into Stavlo.
I think one thing he's going to have to watch for, and not just Tom himself, but other drivers, but as we saw him come up through Radio right there, Fife keeping it well inside the track, the track limits. Tom went pretty far out. So did he get? I don't know if he would have pulled a warning for that one or not, but enough of those. And yeah, he's gonna have trouble there with just the drive-through. So
yeah, he went a bit wider. I think he's smart enough to probably come off the throttle and
hopefully pull it in a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Avoid that track cut warning.
So we do have yellow flags, I believe, on the exit of Eau Rouge and Radion. Yep. The right 29 there. And the 60 car.
Bruce Hopkins. Hemmed up. It looks like another one just came spinning. What is going on? Somebody just came spinning out of it. Where was that? Steven Music red flagged in the pits now.
So Bruce Hopkins back on track, does have some damage. It does look like Eau Rouge and Radion catching some people out. He's got some serious damage on that Ferrari, but he's going to try and limp it back to the pits. Terrell Seens Taylor got hit with a stop go. Yeah, this is definitely looking like Spa is definitely catching some people out right now.
It looks like Adam Willey is out of today's race. We are down to 33 drivers. Adam Willey in chat saying he's done for today. It was
That's a bummer. F's in chat for Adam, because I believe the reason why he ended up missing the start the way that he did was because of a technical issue with the game crashing.
Yeah. Burakovsky saying that he crashed at Eau Rouge. So, a lot of struggles today at Spa for our drivers. Anthony Anderson still in P10 with Jace Wright. Looks like he may have just gotten around Jace Wright to take up that top 10 spot, as Jace Wright's just behind him. Brandon Pfeiffer still under pressure from Tom Foose.
Right now, it looks like Gasolina just managing the pace out in front right now. Not really setting lap times that are too blistering, but just trying to manage the gap to Fife right now. It is down. It is under a second.
Yep, Tom Foose making the move, though, on the outside, coming off the straight, and gets around him very cleanly. But again, different class, right? If Fife's not concerned, you know what I mean? Like, how much? I mean, you got an hour and 15 minutes left. How much of your time do you want to spend worrying about Tom Foose? Now, granted, it gave you a buffer back to John Gray, but now maybe he can get his lap times back up because he's not fighting Foose and can try to do his best to stay ahead of Gray here.
If I'm Fife, I'm going to be pushing like hell to stay in Tom Foose's draft.
Yep.
Because if that gap starts to close down between him and Gray, I just really feel like, again, Sector 2, I feel like the Aston is going to have a little bit more of an advantage than the Lambo, but we're just going to have to wait and see how it all shakes out. Also, John Gray's a tough customer.
Yeah, he can use Foose to like pull him along. You know, sometimes when you have a faster, just slightly faster driver in front of you, it helps you out if you can tag along and stay behind him.
Yeah.
So he can use that to his advantage.
Bias Gable back up to P28 in the 188 Audi. Bruce Hopkins still in the pit after that. Wipe out Louis Ricard getting ahead of Christoph Artz now.
So one thing that is starting to show a little bit from the calamity that we saw in the first two laps of this race is that it is definitely kind of pulled some names that we haven't talked a lot about up further in the timing and scoring right now. We got Dimitri Othwal in 6th, Matt Comiskey in 7th, Lewis Rickard in 8th. Christoph Artz down in 9th place right now. Definitely in a better points payout position right now than TG. But it looks like Anthony Anderson's not too far away from Christoph. So that's going to be interesting. Charlie Booth hanging tough in 14th right now. Looks like he did not pit for repairs. I think that for the folks that have not retired yet, I think this is a race of survival now. It's going to be, I mean, in an hour and 13 minutes, you can have the same kind of calamity come anyone's way, especially as we start getting lap traffic. We're just going to have to wait and see how it all shakes out.
What I will say is, and as horrible as that incident up front was, right? You don't want to see that, especially, again, not just the race leaders, but the season leaders. So you don't want to see that happen. I will say that I'm happy it wasn't because of us having all 4 classes on track at once. Let's put it that way, right? Because that's something we very rarely do. I think we might have done it at the end of season 5 as well. So to have it happen is horrible. The fact that it didn't happen because of having all 4 classes at the same time, I'm okay with that. Because I love this multi-class stuff where we have drivers of such varying speeds on track at the same time. Phil, you know that. You got me into it, so it's your fault, kind of, mostly. But yeah,
you can just blame me for anything, really. I mean,
I could.
Who's going to stop you?
Nobody. Not even one person. But speaking of, folks, I want to take a moment while we watch Anderson roll around here. Don't forget, again, we talked about earlier that season 6 is coming to an end here. Season 7, though, will be coming very quickly. Things don't stop at Box Motorsports. They don't stop. First of all, Collins Racing, thank you so much for that subscription. You are much appreciated, sir. But the Xbox League, their Summer Super Sprint Series continues, multi-class racing GT3, GT4. So be sure and check that out if you are a console racer. Also, iRacing kicking back off next week at Lime Rock in the FF1600. Season 1 of that series will go July 21st. If you are an iRacing driver, by all means, jump on there, get signed up on both SimGrid and on iRacing to join us for that one. Recovery Drive returns on Thursday. And as I said, although this season is ending, another one is beginning. The family reunion tour, because we're bringing Xbox and PC back together. Both seasons. Xbox is actually going to repeat season 7 because we want to line up season numbers and because we want things to go the right way from now on. So qualifying for PC season 7 starts July 24th and runs until August 7th. Also, some other great stuff going on. There's already talk in the iRacing channel about the season after the FF1600. Phil, you and I you've been helping me we've been working together on trying to make sure we're going to spin up an IMSA season that will run through the entirety of winter for about 4 months as we spread the races out in iRacing. I know the AMS2 season is kicking off very soon. Ton of stuff going on at Box 3, and we are trying to expand as in the best directions we can for the community. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think you guys got a lot of good stuff in store, and I'm really excited to see how everybody kind of like jumps in. Just if you like racing, if you participate in any one of the simulators that were mentioned between AMS, iRacing, ACC, just jump in with both feet. Don't be afraid.
We're the best.
Spoiler alert! I am going to participate on next season.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're coming in for season 7. All right. What are you gonna drive? What are you driving?
That's a good question. I have to make up my mind because I've been on the GT4, the BMW M4 GT3 for a while now, but I've been keen on the new Lambo, so I'll have to make that decision. Yeah.
I don't think you could go wrong with the new Lambo. I really feel like it's a good, strong contender.
It's just a matter of getting used to it. When you get on a new car, you have to like learn it and adapt to it. And especially the Lambo, it's a totally different car from the BMW, right? The BMW
just mid-engine things.
Exactly, it's a front-engine car, so you have to totally adjust your technique. So it puts me at a bit of a disadvantage, but I want to have fun and drive something that I enjoy, so I might just jump on the Lambo for that season.
Excellent. That'll be fun to watch. We will keep an eye out for you in Season 7, see where you land with qualifying. Charlie Booth getting himself up to P13 after getting around the number 92 car. So Booth making a recovery drive today, that is for sure. His ability to be able to, you know, the fact that he didn't have enough damage to have to go to the pits like Tobias Gable did, really telling right now. As Booth again back up to P13 while Gable has only made his way back to P26 around Bruce Hopkins, which obviously again, Bruce Hopkins, huge struggle coming out of Eau Rouge and Radial that put him back down to P27. That's really going to throw the AM class into a bit of a tizzy, given that Zolotarov is not here, right? So who knows what's going to happen there.
Well, we got Zolotarov here. We just don't have Zwanenberg.
Zwanenberg. Yep, I got it mixed up.
I'm looking right now, and I think that Hopkins is just gearing to finish this race. He's just trying to punch in some sort of result. He's going to take the drop round for the miss.
Yeah.
I do think he is far enough ahead with his standings with the drop rounds that he might still come out ahead of Chris Finlay and John Rowland. But you're right, it did shake things up for sure.
Quite a bit. Louis Ricard under pressure from Christoph Arts now.
So Fife did find his way back around Tom Fu, so he's got that buffer back in place to John Gray.
He did.
Gasolina still kind of just managing his race up front, not letting the competitors from behind get too close, but not really pushing too hard in the Porsche to get too far out in front, because tire wear in 1.9, especially with the Porsche, could be a thing. It is a colder race because we are dealing with Spa at nighttime, so we shouldn't see tire temps and pressures kind of inflating out of control, but you can get into a situation where your tires can get cold and you can get some early graining, which will only cause traction problems as you go on in the stint.
Track temp. Sorry, just real quick, so folks, no track temp. Air ambient of 21 and track temp of 21 right now. So
yeah, which is kind of ideal, I think. I think it's getting pretty much in that window of a good kind of like hot lap sort of place. Nighttime racing does make it a little bit more treacherous, but yeah, I think it's a good setup for the race.
Tim Glendinning making a run on Rob Keesar. Good to see an out. I can't watch TG anymore. I got to watch another Audi. Louis Ricard getting around Matt Comiskey as they come through La Source. Christoph Arts right there, though, as these three are going to come uphill. Take the whip out onto the... and somebody went a slide. Who is that? That's Christoph Arts.
Did he take out the car behind?
If I can catch him, I don't think so.
It looked like he was about to hit it. Did he miss it? Yeah.
Oh, man, Christoph.
Christoph Arts comes off and misses the car.
He missed it.
What a dodge.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody collected in that
dodge.
Very close.
But Christoph is absolutely smashed the front end of that car. I wonder, I'm going to go back on my end and just take a peek around, because I'm kind of curious what happened
Who
to
was
his
on
car.
that Lambo? Oh, we got contact here.
Oh, I had to turn away for a second. What just happened right there? We'll back that up 10 seconds real quick. Yep.
Oh, I think Christoph was turning in. He didn't think that the Porsche was getting there that quickly, but it does look like the Porsche was able to avoid some disaster, and he's pulling off now to let him go. Who is that in the Porsche? That's Tomazic?
Tomazic in the Porsche, yeah. So, and I think Arts has enough damage here. He's not able to really have a battle with anybody, and that corner coming off the Kemmel Straight might have been what informed him of that, because Tomazic's just running away. I mean, just gone that quickly. So I think we will see Mr. Arts into the pits at the end of this lap.
I think if I had to bet, I think he probably got a little bit too much of the inside curb on the approach to Radion. And then just, I mean, if you get into a phase where that car starts to rotate towards the pit wall, when you start to turn in towards Radion, you're basically doomed.
Gotcha.
So I definitely think that he had some bad luck there.
Right.
Looks like bad luck has just been the order of the day here at Spa.
Well, you know, the funny part is all the drivers after last season are like, no, don't do Bathurst. Don't do Bathurst. I don't want to go to Bathurst again. Please, Mommy, don't make me go to Bathurst. And now Spa looks like a Bathurst race all of a sudden.
I mean,
whether it's multiple drivers or whether it's single drivers throwing themselves off through, like we just saw with Arts through Eau Rouge and Radio, it just looks like a Bathurst race all of a sudden.
yeah, I mean, Spa has its own level of treachery that is kind of built into the circuit by design. So I'm not surprised. Man, we got some tough racing here. Oh, another car off.
Ending really
Matt
hard.
Comiskey.
Oh wow! Did we have
someone
get collected on the far end of the Camel Straight? Man, it just seems like things are just happening.
Let's take a look here. We're on a replay right now with Matt Comiskey, who got spun at some point. Let's try and find out where here.
So that was the Lambo that dodged.
And a push. What a push right there.
I got pushed from behind.
Yeah, he did.
And this guy's checking up, and these guys are battling from behind. And I didn't see what happened going into Lacombe. Did Reed and Lloyd Davis get through that okay? Because it looks like.
I think they did it. I think they made it.
Yeah, they did. Charlie Booth got around Davis, but has taken up P9 now behind Anthony Anderson. So I think the easy part of Charlie Booth's recovery drive might be over. He's got Anderson in front of him, retro coffin.
Yeah.
So now it's going to become a fist fight, or a knife fight, I should say, for him to get much further ahead.
Well, I mean, we got an hour and 2 minutes left. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So it's like, if I'm Charlie Booth, I'm thinking to myself, like, gotta make sure my pit stop's set correctly. You've decided to suffer this far into the race with damage, so you're probably going to make sure you're going to go into your MFD, make sure you've got your repairs unchecked. Double check your fuel loads and how you want to handle your tires for the second portion of the race. And then you just got to nail it. You got to nail the pit stop, because that's important. What is going on here?
Davis and Wright both pushing themselves out wide. I think both drivers afraid to maybe make contact with the other. They've seen what's going on. Jace Wright able to nudge ahead right there. But I believe, if I'm seeing that livery right, Jace Wright was the driver, the lamp, and gets pushed by. Oh,
he was
wow!
going for a switchback and gets hit by the Aston Martin.
So that is very unfortunate.
It is. Got gobbled up by the number 92 car. But looking at the livery, I think Jace Wright might have been the one that pushed on the straight.
I think so. Yep. You're right.
Well, the big thing we got to figure out there is like, and this will be something for the stewards to go back and take a look. It's like, coming onto the Kemmel Straight, the Ferrari in front, did Kaminsky pick a line and then move over to cut off Jace Wright? Because he already had the draft going through Radion. So if he already had a run on him, the thing that I just didn't see, because we only saw kind of like the ending scene of what happened, like when did one car move in front of the other is the thing that I would be keen on.
Christoph Arts just now getting out of the pits as Alex Martin gets around him.
His whole game plan is to try and salvage as much as possible.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned going into the MFD, like adjusting your pit strategy. To me, this is like a living nightmare when I have to do this during the race. How do you guys go through that?
So let me answer first, Phil, to just say, Jose, I don't, because all I'm going to do is bounce off another car or a wall. That's literally what will happen if I do that. So go ahead, Phil.
For me, so I like the wheel that I use a Gomez Sim Industry GXL. So for me, I've got kind of like just some very simple controls set up on the funky switch to be able to navigate up down. Like increment decrement is always twist, not move left right, because I found that twisting is more reliable than moving left and right. And then my button, I actually have a button on my thumb that I use specifically for check boxes. So if I'm navigating through the MFD with like forward and back buttons, I'm using a button on my thumb to be able to check boxes and stuff like that. I do the same thing for iRacing. For me in particular, I think the user interface in ASDC could definitely use a little bit of tender love and care, but I will argue that it is not that much worse than iRacing. It just isn't. Now, when you get into endurance racing and you're doing a team event, not being able to control the car's like pit strategy and stuff like that as part of a team, to me is Kuno's just leaving a lot on the cutting room floor and just letting iRacing just have a clear, distinct advantage. But that's my take on the MFD.
Can't comment much on that because I haven't done a lot of like team endurance racing. Actually, only done good races.
Yep.
And one was on ACC. But yeah, like just this type of regular single driver race. Whenever I've had to adjust my pit strategy, oh my gosh, that's just probably been the hardest part of the entire race. Just trying to drive and navigate that menu and adjust accordingly.
The advice I would give to any racer that is struggling with a particular function of racing, that being controlling your strategy while you're in the car, dealing with navigation buttons and UI and things like that, like it's only going to get better if you put yourself in situations where you have to do it. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it from the perspective of preparing yourself for a race, you probably want to, as you're practicing laps around the track, use the MFD as some level of like informational tool while you're driving around. Know what straights you can start to use the tool. Know what corners you need to be done with your MFD before you get to them. You just got to practice it. If you don't practice it as a skill, you won't learn it.
You know the crazy part, and Phil, I know you're absolutely right about that. You know the craziest part? I have driven a 5-ton or larger bucket truck as part of my job while writing emails.
Okay.
But I open the MFD in ACC, or I try to do anything in iRacing, and it just screws me all up. Even, I mean, look, let's face it, Spa's the perfect I mean, this track is almost the perfect example. The Kemmel Straight. It's forever. It's not a short straight. It's I will slide into you. If we're side by side,
that's the place to do it, right?
Yeah, like even on that straight, I will screw it up. And but to Phil's point, that is 100% something that you should practice, like you practice pit stops, like you practice anything else in sim racing. I should probably be practicing that as well. And Blue, hush, it was very safe. Real quick, going to the chat to Sodium. Do drivers get points? Yes, drivers do get points in this race. I don't know that we're going to have seasonal results at the end of this because there were a good number of incidents and those are going to have to be gone through. So we'll talk about those on Recovery Drive on Thursday for the final season results. And also thank you to who you're going to call Ghostbusters for your subscription to Box3 Motorsports. Now, how soon? I think at this point, the pit window should be open. It's a 45-minute pit window today.
I think everything's already gone through in terms of like opening the pit window.
Yeah.
So we're good to go for people to pit and actually clear for legitimate pit stops for the rest of the race. Yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of retirements though that are making me sad. I'm seeing Bruce Hopkins in the pit. I'm seeing Steven Music, Terrell Seens Taylor. We've got 3 others. It does look like Spa has claimed a number of victims this race.
Well, I mean, we're down 6 drivers at this point.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate.
It really is. Brandon Pfeiffer right now though making a run on Gasolina. How about this for a switch real quick? So that's kind of what I was gonna onboard view with the number 153. Give me just a moment. We got a battle going on and I will get you that onboard view. So at this point of the race, you know, we're half an hour in. Having seen what we've seen so far, what's the strategy? Right? Are you going to undercut? Are you going to overcut? Are you going to push these tires as long as you can, given it's night, track temperatures? You know, things are pretty stable. I mean, we started with qualifying, and I think the beginning of the race was 22C on track. Now it's 21. Things aren't changing a whole lot. If you've got your pressures dialed in, are you staying out for as long as you can? As I say that as Anderson heads into the pits.
I mean, for the front runners, I think staying out longer and avoiding potential traffic if you pit early, right? What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, if I'm Gasolina, I'm gonna probably pit when I get closer to the 60 car. That's gonna be when I'm probably gonna pull the trigger for that. I really do feel like with the potential for things to go pear-shaped at an all-time high, I do feel like pushing later and later and later into your stint as much as you can is going to provide you an advantage, because if you are light on fuel, fresh tires, something happens in front of you, you've got the fastest car underneath you to go try and make moves and shake things up. So I feel like it's a strategy that works well both for if you're in the front or if you're trying to chase somebody down and you happen to be many spots back. So it's going to be it's definitely going to be something to look forward to when I go back and take a look at the data. But if I'm Gaz, I'm staying out.
Gotcha. As I said, Anthony Anderson heading in. Now, also curious will be if Anderson decides to make repairs or not. Our man with the... as we watch Bob Charlton off into the sand. Off into the kitty litter as we do an onboard for who you're going to call. Anderson headed in. I'll be curious to see, Phil, as you start pulling numbers for pit stops and timings and everything. Yep. If it looks like Anderson did repairs. I mean, he stayed out after the incident. Didn't seem to struggle. He made up positions. So I wonder if he took the time to make repairs or if he's just going to be back, tires and fuel and let's go.
Yeah, I'm looking at Anthony's time right now. It's still ticking up. It's at it's at almost 2 minutes now. So I'm wondering if he's actually is taking repairs. The 92 car was a 156. Well, actually, no, it's still counting up as well. I'm trying to find. Actually, let me just take a look real quick at ACC to find somebody. Looks like Christoph is. Although Christoph was in for repairs. Yeah. No question.
Brendan Pfeiffer again under pressure from Tom Foose. He was closing up on Gaz, and that's kind of spread back out. And now Tom Foose taking advantage.
It looks like a 216 for Anderson, which seems a little long. I do see the 92 car clocked in at 205.3.
Okay.
And there was some incidents involving the 92 car, but it didn't seem like it took a lot of damage in the race. So I suspect that the 92 car is probably a little closer to the reference pit stop that we want to see.
Gotcha. Perfect. With that, guys, and knowing that pit stops are going to start, I'm going to throw up autopilot real quick and take a step away for a few minutes.
Sounds good.
And after we go take a look at Ridian Lloyd-Davis and Terry Driscoll coming together. But I leave the race in your four capable hands. Before I go again, folks, please don't forget, stick around after today's race. We're going to continue to talk to Jose Toledo, the owner and founder of SimTrack USA, and we are going to give away not one but two prizes from SimTrack and from Next Level Racing, and kind of do a little bit of a seasonal wrap up, and then I'm going to go cook chicken for my family. So we'll make it all work. Either way, sorry, I know I said I'm going to go, but this is insane. Like, this rubber banding at the front of this, Tom Foose was gathering up Brandon Pfeiffer, right? Getting closer, going to make a challenge. Now all of a sudden, Foose is back, and Fife is attacking Gaz. I cannot wait for pit stops to be over so that I can watch these three go to it, because I have a feeling we're going to see this through the entirety of the race. It's
going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Right now, I'm just looking at average lap time pace, and it looks like between. I was looking at Fife and Gray. I'm bringing Foose into the equation. Foose right now is a little bit off pace to Fife right now, probably almost a 10th. Okay. I do see John Gray dropping down. I don't see, though, was he going? Oh, yeah, okay, so he's going into the pits. Yep. Now, we're going to see if that undercut strategy really pays off. John Gray is going to be our canary in the coal mine. Gasolina, if I bring Gasolina into the picture, Gasolina is a little bit off of Fife's pace by 200ths of a second. So it looks like Fife right now is sitting very pretty. We're going to wait and see, though.
Excellent. Well, as I said, I'm going to take a quick step away. I will be right back, gentlemen, and we will continue this with pit stops and everything else that's going to roll through.
Alrighty. So Foose seems to be falling a little bit. However, I think that battle in front between Gas and Pfeiffer, it's gonna play into his favor.
Yeah, I think, especially because Gaz is coming up to some back market traffic. It looks like, I can't tell if that's an Aston Martin.
It looks like it is, yeah. That's an Aston.
So, it's going to be interesting. Definitely going to be interesting. Actually, let me switch over to the track map here so I can take a look. It looks like that is the 92 car. Man, it is just a bunch up here at the front. We've got P1, P2, P3 all right there. We've got the 27 car behind. That's Tom Foose trying to chase down the 22 of Pfeiffer. Just a gaggle of cars. And the thing is the Porsche right now is going to be getting some dirty air as it gets ready to go into Blanchimont. So I'm thinking, if I'm Gaz, I'm like, man, if you were ever in doubt of when to pull the trigger on pit stops, probably now's the time.
Yep, you're right. Just about as you start to hit traffic, right? You want to go in the pits and get some clean terrain in front of you when you come out.
100%. And the other thing is too is that so there goes Gaz. Gaz is going in the pits. It looks like Pfeiffer's following him. I wonder if Foose
stayed out.
Oh, Foose stayed out. So Foose stayed out. Coffin is staying out, and that's the thing that I was about to say. The 937 Porsche Retro Coffin, who's been very strong in the last 3 rounds of this championship, probably to the tune of 7-8 seconds back. So if things go hairy for Gaz or Pfeiffer in this pit stop, I really think the person right now that is sitting in the position to gain the most is Retro Coffin in the 937.
I would like to see how this is gonna play out for Foose though, staying out.
His pace was not that far off of Fife's, but I'm kind of curious if this is a strategy where it's like Foose is just keeping Pfeiffer and Gasolina in touch and really just waiting for that opportunity to get kind of like unleashed, clear track in front of him. Although he doesn't really have clear track because the 92 car has pitted in front of him.
Yeah.
Now he is effectively now the race leader. So if he can really close down and catch Anthony Anderson and the 92 car, I wonder if they're gonna give him an opportunity to get around in a clean way. Right now, it doesn't look like it. I'm actually gonna go. I want to go take a look at. Go take a look now, because so both Fife and Gasolina have gone into the pits. John Gray was a 155.7. So I'm using John Gray's pit stop as kind of like the big indicator on how the pit stop goes. Gasolina a 55.2, John Gray a 55.7, Brandon Pfeiffer a 55.5. So the margin's very small between Gasolina, Pfeiffer, and John Gray. So
see, the pit stops have started in earnest.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely have some interesting strategy that is probably going to be race deciding. We did see that Tom Foose going into the pits now
with Retro.
We're going to see how that overcut worked out. They did stay out behind that traffic a little bit longer. The 92 car and the number 16 of Anthony Anderson. So
as Randy and Lloyd Davis heads into the pits, we will go on board Mr. J's right as he starts a lap.
Let me tell you, somebody we have not seen or heard a lot from this race. Ivan Zolotarov currently in 23rd, but again, mathematically, I think he's basically got the series on lock. So we're gonna see. But right now, down there with Christoph Arts, Jarrett Skinner, still waiting to see as these pit stops cycle through with some of these cars in front, where the 92 car and the number 16 of Anthony Anderson are going to shake out. They've both been trying to recover.
Well, I can tell you, Anthony Anderson under a little bit of an attack from the number 92 car and contact between the two of them. So keeping an eye back there, Anderson's still staying ahead, but hopefully not taking any more damage he's going to have to deal with during the course of this race.
Gasolina looks like he stayed out in front of Fife. Trying right now to see. Fife's got John Gray in his rearview mirror now. That gap closed up a little bit. 7/10.
Okay. So Foos landed between Pfeiffer and Gray.
Yep. Although now Foos has got a battle with John Gray.
He lost it to Gray.
Yeah, Gray right now driving the Aston like a man possessed.
So Fife and Gaz both back out on track. Fife within 2/10. These guys came out together. Both of them hitting their pit stops about right, I would have to say.
Yeah. Yep. They went together in the pits too. Foos stayed out. We're looking at that.
So Retro Coffin looked like he lost some pace relative to the field in those pit stops. I'm going to go take a look at his pit stop real quick to see what happened. Retro Coffin, a 2-minute 1.8, which is
Wow. That
5 seconds, like lost in the pits.
Oh, 5 seconds lost. Okay.
Lost in the pits relative to the guys in front. So definitely had a moment where he could have maintained what was a closing gap for him. I mean, he was within 8 seconds by the time the pit stop started to rain from the race leader, Gasolina. But yeah, it's interesting that lost that much time in the pits.
Jace
Yeah,
Wright.
right here, coming on the inside.
Jace Wright shooting
got
up the
it
inside
done.
on Driscoll. Yeah, he did. If he can hold on to it through the S's there. Oh. It
Yeah,
looked like
that's a
Jace had
done move.
it looked like Jace had a little bit of a struggle keeping control there, but able to hold on to it over Terry Driscoll. As Edward Walsh now heading into the pits. So Brandon Pfeiffer now dropping back to about 0.8 to 1 second behind Gasolina. John Gray again right there.
So we still got a few, I'd say about 7 cars in front that have yet to pit under the regulations. Gasolina is under pressure.
Yeah, he is. Fife is looking for that opportunity.
Is he going to make the move into Lake Home? He's got the run on the
Together.
outside. Gasolina's giving him the space.
Very clean racing.
They are.
Very good.
Yeah, well, here's
Very
but here's the problem for Fife right now is this battle has allowed John Gray to close in tight, and now it's a 3-way.
Oh yeah, it's a 3-way fight for sure. This right here, the Sector 2 portion of the track, I expect Gaz to kind of stretch his legs a little bit and start to get a little bit of breathing room. He really needs to get this nailed before he gets to the exit of Campos, because if he doesn't have the exit on Stavlo to go down to Blanchimont, he's going to have trouble when it gets to bus stop time.
And right now he's not pulling it out. Fife staying right there with him to this point.
So
And
a little bit of
coming into
traffic. I believe that's Alex Martin in the Lexus in front, and he just goes off. He's just like he does not want to be a part of any of this. Which I mean, it's a bummer he had to go. He felt the need to go off track, but at the same time too, I mean, thank you for not interrupting the action on track.
Yeah, 100%. I get that, but at the same time, it's like, don't drive off track. It's so much worse. Brandon Pfeiffer, and now Fife really under pressure from John Gray into the bus stop.
Got to find out what the Aston brakes can do. Oh man, Gray threw the anchor down.
Very close.
Yeah, he did.
Oh man.
Matt Comiskey, Terry Driscoll, and Lewis Ricard now all into the pits, which will leave Dimitri Athwal, Jace Wright, Timothy Glendinning, and Josh Butler yet to finish out that mandatory pit stop.
Man, what a wild ride.
Gray fell behind now a little bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking Gray didn't have. Well, I mean, he had to check up in a big way on the exit of the bus stop, and then the Aston Martin's turbo was basically doing accounting instead of actually being a turbo on the exit of the bus stop, and probably allowed the Lambo to drive off. Because Aston Martin, massive turbo lag usually out of slow speed corners.
So Dimitri Athwal heading into the pits. Gasolina now again under pressure from Fife. John Gray dropping back a bit. Gray will now deal with Tom Foose.
This is such an interesting way this race is shaking out right now. I really feel like Tom Foose is got a lot to gain from this result. So if I'm him, like I don't know if I'm going to go toe to toe with Gasolina for this. Both John Gray and Pfeiffer not in the same class. If I'm Tom Foose, I'm just like, this is a really good result in pro category. Maybe I just ride it and see how the points shake out. Because right now the only pro driver that's going to score more points right now is Gasolina. Although, if I were Foose, if the points difference between where he finishes in pro relative to Gasolina cost him a spot, he'd probably be kicking himself. So maybe he's got a little bit of that killer instinct. Tactical got a puncture, which is possible in ACC. You can do it. You can do it, especially nighttime racing, 21 degrees on track, probably a little bit cooler by now. What's the current weather?
Nope, 21.
21 degrees. I mean, it is possible. Like, you get the cooler temperatures, you do some curb striking, you can totally get a puncture.
Yeah, temps holding steady, clear, no forecast of rain, so we'll keep it nice and dry on track this evening. Currently 22:45 in on track time. Fife is not giving Gasolina any sort of breathing room here at all.
He came out with good speed there. I think he's gonna have a go at it now. Getting close.
Fife looking to the outside.
Gasolina knows the business. He stayed on the inside. He's like, oh, I'm defending here.
Uh-oh. A little wide on the exit, though, and maybe Fife's got the
he's
run
on the outside.
down into the carousel.
Yeah, this is going to open up for Fife now. He's just got to cover him off if they go into no-name corner. And now it's the run down to Pujon. This little straightaway should give Fife an opportunity to pull away a bit. So Fife looks like he has pulled out all the stops in preparation for Spa. But John Gray, like a stalking horse in the background. I mean, he's just on the other side of Gasolina.
Yeah, I mean, he's
like
right
Fife
there.
cannot sleep on this. Fife cannot sleep on this at all.
They're just under 36 minutes left to go in this race. Nice clean move from Fife to get up into P1, well, which we'll call it provisional P1. Timothy Glendinning. Jace right now into the pits. Josh Butler all needing to pit in, which should allow these three drivers to move up, or allow everyone to move up. But as you said, Gray is right there, but Gray is also having to play defense against Tom Foose this entire time. And I don't know if he really has the opportunity to maximize his speed when he's got to shoot out for some defense once in a while.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not entirely sure.
Phil, let me ask you this: with your numerological, what's the word I'm looking for? Your numerological knowledge. How does Gray compare to Gaz with our averages?
So if I'm looking at, well, I mean, they were really close. Like going into the pits, they were all within a tenth of one another.
Okay.
But since the pit stop, let's go ahead and pull Gray and Gasolina out and just take a peek at their numbers. So Gasolina was averaging a 29.052, and Gray was a 29.073.
You saying 19?
Or excuse me, 19. Sorry, I'll learn how to read in a minute. I can do math. It's just the whole like how the English language works sometimes. Anyway, but since the pit stops, we're looking at a 19.8 for Gasolina, and they're dealing with traffic, and then a 19.6 for Gray. So Gray definitely has pace post pit stop relative to Gasolina for sure.
Let's back this up. Take a look at Dimitri Athwell and Retro Coffin coming off the Camel Straight. Coffin with a great run out of Radion to hit the straight, and it looks like contact was made between these two.
Oh man, is that a setup issue, or did Coffin have like a really? Oh wow, was that one move or two?
Yeah, right.
I couldn't. And I'm being serious. I'm not saying that from a perspective of I'm trying to be the racing steward here. I'm just saying that when the camera switched, I couldn't tell, but it looked like Retro Coffin was moving to the outside after moving to the inside. So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. I'm not certain at all what's going on, guys. I'm looking at the data and I'm looking at the Discord stream, but it looks like I'm miking up for you guys as well. I hope that's not the case.
that you're what?
That I'm miking up and you're getting some level of crosstalk either from you guys talking or the
you're
game.
good.
Nope, you're
Okay,
good, my
You're
man.
good.
Discord's just lying to me.
Yeah, it does
That's
that
what it
from
is.
time to time. Josh Butler takes over the lead of this race as Timothy Glendinning heads into the pits. We'll see when Butler decides to make the dive himself. He is staying out. Charlie Booth sets a new fastest lap of 2:18.297. Booth up in the 9th after the lap 2 incident.
And let me tell you, I think that I don't think he took repairs either.
Yeah.
So that's raw pace with a broken car. Like that's something there. Charlie Booth's pit stop was a 1:58.6, so about 3 seconds off. So that's within the margin of error for I just made a mistake during my pit stop. I probably didn't take repairs, but for him to set that time with damage, like Booth's doing something special with this recovery drive he's on.
I will say I love this idea, the ideas that float through my head, because I know I'm a very considerate sim racing driver. No, I am. I'm not one to fight and block people or anything like that, right? So I'm not super aggressive. And the reason I say this is because it brings my thoughts together of if I'm in the position of Gaz right now, right? I got pro locked up for the most part. Well, Tom Foose is gaining, so maybe I'm not going to do anything. But I also know that Brandon Pfeiffer and John Gray deserve episode 3 Obi-Wan versus Anakin fight over the lava at the end of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, if I'm not under threat, which again he is because Tom Foose is right there, so I'm not, I wouldn't do anything because I like that buffer with John Gray behind me. Let's say Gas was leading out pro class at this point by 10 seconds. Do you let Gray through? Do you let Gray through and let these two go to it? You know what I mean?
I mean, if Gaz is actually like racing for a season, like maybe, but I mean, Gaz is just a street fighter. Like he's not gonna.
Yeah.
You're gonna pass him. You're gonna pass him because you're quicker. You're not gonna pass him because he's polite.
That's the problem when you're in that spot. You know, they just want to win on track and
They do.
earn
Yeah.
that position on track. So and also you're like driving and trying to focus on what you're doing. I doubt they have the time to sit back and do all this math that you're doing right now. Hey, do I let this guy, let these two have it? You know, they're just looking at the break point, looking at what they're doing. They don't got time for that. They're like, nope, I want to be in front.
And it looks
I
like
don't
No, go ahead. Sorry, Jose.
Yeah, like I don't think they got the time, or they just want to give up position. They're just competitive.
And they are, and I get that, and I'm competitive as well. But I guess it's because of my time sitting in this seat rather than in the other seat, where I sit back and go, I want to watch this. I want to see this go down. You know what I mean? And so that's why I always wonder those things for myself, because I do want to see it go down. So Anthony Anderson making a move, getting around Liberty, and Lloyd Davis now take up P12. Charlie Booth still running in P8, but a long way back from Retro Coffin. As we said earlier, his easy recovery drive is over. John Gray holding on, but Tom Foose made a play coming off the Kemmel Straight, and is now holding right tight to him. So Gray having his own fight to deal with, but now Fife with clear air has really kind of started to open it up on Gaz.
Yeah, he has. When I'm looking at the pit wall data, the gap is steadily growing with relative to the top four. Like Fife is pulling away from everyone right now. The last lap time for Fife was an 18.877. And Gaz is a 19.4, Gray is a 19.1, Foose is a 19.8. Like, to get into the 18s, you got to go down to Dimitri Athwal in 6, who did an 18.4.
Who just got the move done on Gray?
Yep. Tom Foose got it done. Finally
So
took
it
up.
is. It's interesting. It does look. Whoa, John Gray going off into Never Land.
Nope, he's back. He's good. Josh Butler heading into the pits now, so everybody jockeying up position. Brandon Pfeiffer now up by getting up to 2 seconds over Gasolina. Tom Foose has cleared John Gray and 2.3 back. So if I'm Fife right now, man, I'll tell you what, I want to clear traffic as quickly as possible, and I want to keep Gaz and Foose right behind me, so that in class I've got a double buffer now back to John Gray.
Yeah,
I think that's all I want at this point.
Yeah, I think that is. I agree with that. Man, Dimitri Athwal just punched in an 18.2.
Yeah.
In the race. Like, let's talk about Dimitri Athwal for a minute. What could have been in this Box 3 season had he had a cleaner first half? Like, that dude had the fastest time in quali to set the tone for the season. Really unfortunate first half. But I mean, when it comes to single lap pace, like, Athwal is so blisteringly quick in the Porsche at Spa.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. Like, right now he's moving in a pace field that is all himself right now. He is the 5th category on track right now in terms of raw pace.
No, Athwal has been fast this whole season. As you said, it's been pretty unfortunate how he's gotten scooped up in a few things. Hopefully see him back for next season. Bruce Hopkins sitting in pit lane at the top of radio. Let's see if backing up 30 seconds helps us here. It will, as he comes out of the source. Bruce Hopkins not having his race today.
Yeah, I mean, Spa's a tough track. Mid-engine cars, I feel like, yep, there it goes. Back end just steps out, and then boop, right into the wall. And it looks like, luckily, whoever was coming out of the pits
should be Butler. Should be Butler coming out right there with our late
Hopkins
stop.
just having a race to forget, which sucks, because I mean, the man has had such a good season.
He really has.
Like I really feel for him in that regard. Oh, Terry Driscoll, and is that Jace Wright?
That is Jace Wright. Get tangled up. Wow. This late in the race. Coming out of the bus
tell.
stop.
It looks like Jace is either. I can't tell if Jace is checking up. Yeah, he's letting him by. He's at least trying to undo it a little bit. But man, this race, at the front of this race right now, we are talking about 4 cars that are within about 6 seconds of each other as we tick down to the 24-minute mark.
What an absolute race, though. This one has been crazy. We've lost now 7 drivers. Alex in chat saying had suspension damage from lap 3 and has got to pull out at this point. Tobias Gable still running in P24 right now. Looking to just pick up something for this last race of the season. Checking it out. Retro Coffin, our first place finisher at the Hungaroring. Currently running in 6th. Drivers now relatively spread out. Fife not really able to open the gap past 2 seconds on Gaz. I wonder if this point, if he's, going into fuel or tire saving mode where he just says, you know what, I got 24 minutes. If I can maintain right here, I'm good to go.
I mean, given their relative pace to one another in quali, the first question I would ask if I'm Fife, should I? Should I really try and check out? Like if you're really not running, if your single lap pace isn't like that much up on the guy that's chasing you, maybe don't check out. Maybe try and build a gap, try and break the draft, and then just kind of try your best to just punch in lap times that are consistent so that you're not overusing fuel or overusing your tires.
And I guess that's what I mean is maintain the consistency, right? It doesn't mean necessarily back off, not check out, anything like that. Yeah. And if you look, Fife about 1/100th faster last lap over Gaz.
Yeah, there's not much between them right now. And Tom Foose is actually moving at a quicker pace right now than Gasolina. I think Fife's got a bigger threat from Foose than he does from Gasolina. Does look like John Gray's pace has dropped off. Last lap was a 20.7. And he's about to have Dimitri Othwal looming large in his rear view and Retro Coffin. Charlie Booth right now in 7th after dropping down to 14th on lap 2?
Yeah, something like that. 14th or 15th. He was deep. Yeah.
Like he is seriously recovered. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Anthony Anderson was in front of him after the lap 2 collision, and Anthony's back in 11th right now. So Charlie Booth has really been putting a recovery drive on display for everyone to see.
I would love to see Foose overtake Gas and give it a go at Pfeiffer. I think that'll get interesting by end of race. If Foose can close that gap and put up a Pfeiffer first place in the last minutes. What do you guys think?
You know what? I would love to see it.
I want to see a show. I want to see a show.
Yep, I want to see it. To your point, I want to see that. My concern is Gaz is no slouch. He's going to play that defense and hold Foose back. And now, Tom's a great driver, very clean, going to be able to get around at some point. The question becomes, does Gaz hold him up long enough that Fife opens the gap, say to 2, 3, maybe even up to 4 seconds, that makes it impossible for Foose to then close that gap prior to the end of this race?
That's a good point.
Gaz certainly not slowing down at this point, but Foose with a lot of speed coming out of radio. Those tenths are ticking down up this straight. I don't think it's going to be enough by the time they get to the end of it, but yeah, he is closing up fast on Gaz.
Harry Driscoll, Chase Wright getting involved again. Looks like Ridian Lloyd Davis is getting around him. I'm gonna say his name right once this season. I swear.
Well, you have to just remember it looks like Davies. You just have to remember Davis.
No, I know.
That's what
it's
it took for me. I just have to
read
remember
it,
Davis.
and then my lizard brain is like, no. It's Davies. It's really Davies. Anyway.
Nope, I get you. Trust me. Oh, believe me. Let's take a look at the position deltas for today just to see who the big winners and losers are across this race. Brandon Pfeiffer up 5 spots to take up P1 right now. Gaz up 3. Anthony Anderson down 7, man. Charlie Booth only, I mean, if you look at this right now, though, Charlie Booth is only down 3 spots from where he qualified.
Yeah. Charlie Booth is, like I said, Charlie Booth's putting on a show.
Yeah,
like he's kind
of
of this undercurrent in the race right now, where it's just like how many spots can Charlie Booth really get by the end of this race? I think he's starting to hit his ceiling, but you know, I mean, we've still got 20 minutes of Spa.
Yeah,
anything's possible.
We've seen that throughout this whole race. Dimitri Athwal up 5 spots on the day and fastest lap so far. Riddian Lloyd Davis up 6. So Edward Walsh, even down here, further down, Edward Walsh, currently P20, is up. Where'd it go? It jumped on me. Walsh up 9 today as Terry Driscoll makes contact and gets shunted. Him and Timothy Glendenning having some trouble. Ed Walsh up 9, John Rulin up 9 spots on the day. So certainly a lot of gainers throughout the entirety of this race. And overall, I think from that opening, I don't know, I think from that opening salvo that we saw in lap 2, Anderson really suffering the worst, right? Or no, I take that back. And
TG's out.
Tobias Gable suffering the worst, down 23 spots on the day.
Yeah.
And he's in 24th. So really bad for TG. And I feel bad for TG because I was rooting for him specifically.
Look at Chase doing the long run, and it looks like Driscoll's in the pits. Was he just boxed in, or?
I hope not, but yeah, Driscoll heading in.
So now Jace Wright gonna chase down Timothy Glendenning. We're gonna get to see the difference between the R8 and the Lambo in straight line when we go down Kimmel Straight.
Mark Headroom in the chat says Retro isn't liking his tires right now.
I mean, he's in the Porsche. That's a choice.
That's a choice, he says.
Yep.
Wow, look at that though. I'd say that Lambo hit it pretty hard, and then Glendenning struggling, taking the inside of the corner, but Jace Wright, a lot of speed down that straight to really just very cleanly and very quickly get past the Audi of Timothy Glendenning. We catch back up with Gasolina and Tom Foose.
I'm telling you, it is going to be interesting to see how the points shake out after this. I mean, I know we got a drop round to deal with, but man, it just seems like things have been kind of like throwing us for a loop.
This was not the race I expected today, right?
No.
Given what we saw throughout the season.
This is definitely going to be a blip on maybe the start of someone's villain arc for sure. Like, it is going to be interesting.
Well, I gotta say, as much as I love seeing Fife and Gaz and Tom up here in the front, battling it out, you know, Fife not really pulling away, actually, the time's holding really steady. Gaz having to deal with Tom Foose now as we're watching on screen. I have to say, after watching him qual first, I wanted TG to roll. I wanted to watch him go. I wanted to see him drive and get chased down and have to battle and keep it, right? That incident was not what I wanted from this race at all.
I mean, that's the thing, though. If you're gonna have drivers that have like that level of gumption, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. It's basically where I'm going with this. It's like like the only way we're gonna have a good season where we're gonna have these guys really going toe to toe and giving each other, you know, what for on track is if probably going to result in every now and then a Lacombe incident at Spa on lap 2.
Yep. No, 100%.
It's just gonna happen. And it doesn't have to happen. Sometimes cooler heads do prevail. Sometimes they don't.
It's part of racing.
Yeah, it is.
It's racing. It's an inherited risk, you know. It's like you said, it's going to happen eventually.
And let's face it, this stuff happens in real life racing. It's not as though it's only sim racers that have this problem. The difference is nobody dies, nobody's car is on fire, and it didn't cost $700,000, right, or $1 million. And so in that respect, it's actually better because again, there's no chance of anybody dying. But it's still, I hate to see it. It's so bothersome to see it. I wanted to see that battle that was lining up with Gable and Booth and Anderson and all of them right up there at the front. It was like it's like you get to the end of Endgame and Thanos shows up and they just flick him in the forehead, like, you know, do the little flick in the forehead and he just falls over and dies. It's like, you know what I mean? We had some great racing because of it, but it's just, that was the battle. The qualification set up a great battle for this race.
Hey, look at it this way. It's part of the drama, right?
It is. Absolutely, you're right.
Like I said, racing would not mean a lot to people if there wasn't something on the line.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we got to see that completely. Yeah, that was the Lake Home incident. Burakovsky. But that said, in the terms of the storyline right now, we've got Gasolina white knuckling around in a Porsche trying to get away from Tom Foose in an M4. Dimitri Othwal and Retro Coffin and Charlie Booth are like really catching the front four, and it's going to be interesting. So I feel like there's still more to see here. I don't feel like this race is decided.
Not at all. Retro Coffin closing very quickly on Athwal. And we'll see if Athwal's able to hold him off throughout the rest of this race. Foose, again, kind of holding back from Gaz at this point. Gab's kind of trying to tighten up, but it's just not getting there that quickly.
Yeah, I thought Foose was going to have the upper hand here, but it seems like he's not. And he's running out of time. So he may not have enough pace to overtake.
Jose, it sounded like you watched part of this season, right? You heard us talk about Retro's hair, stuff like that. Like, so it sounds like you've at least watched part of the season, yeah?
Not really. I think I've raced with some of these guys before, and that's why I remember a few stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been too busy
right
lately,
now,
like I said, so I haven't really followed on this season.
Gotcha.
To your point about Foose, though, Jose, I mean, he does have about a tenth, maybe a tenth and a half advantage right now on Gasolina. So, on average lap pace alone. So, kind of interested to see if Foose is just kind of like, playing with his food a little bit. So.
No. Oh, I gotta look at something here.
Here's the thing I'll say, Drew. I see what you're saying in chat, man. Just dust yourself off and get back on the saddle. It's the best medicine. It's a game. You know, there are things on the line. It does matter to people. It matters to you, clearly, which is a good thing. But just dust yourself off. Get back in the saddle, man. Go sign up for the next season. Go get ready to qualify the car. You know, figure out like the thing that is going to be primary place for you to focus is what comes next. That's what you always need to be asking yourself. What comes next? What comes after? Blaze, I'm never going to tell you what to do. I can't do that, man. You're a man unto yourself.
He's a seagull.
Okay.
He's a seagull. Chief
He
Blaze
eats
is a
garbage?
seagull.
What?
Nope. He's a seagull. He flies in, he craps all over everything, and he flies away.
Okay.
What he does.
All right.
No, I love Chief. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. Chief, you're not wrong, because if it weren't for Phil, I don't think these races would be going as well as they do sometimes. 100%, sir.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm manifesting quality. Like, I don't think that's how that works.
I think it might be.
You can't have yin without yang.
Sure. Matt Comiskey now under some pressure from Jace Wright here as we start to get near the end.
You are the manifestation of quality. I'm here to have fun. It is a blast to get to do co-commentary, because that is something that I spent a good majority of my broadcasting career not doing, just doing solo broadcasts, is which Molson's very, very familiar with. So having even I mean, and having Jose here it's been an awesome addition to the show. Just having personalities, people to talk to. The thing about broadcasting is you're just people talking about cars while they're driving around a track.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. I'm quite enjoying it. I know I'm staying mostly quiet here. I just, feel like sometimes you guys have more useful information to get out there. So that's why I'm like shutting my mouth right now. But it's fun. It's fun. I'm look forward to actually get more involved in this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, man. This is I think we all find our niche, right? I can't drive very fast, so I commentate races.
We gotta fix that, Molson. You mean we gotta fix that? We gotta find a category.
Listen,
we gotta find a category.
GTP, baby. I want to do it. I'm going full high speed, low drag GTP starting in October. Let's go.
I'll be on that category.
You're doing.
I'll join that category. I'm not class at all.
So you're
me up.
You're like, I haven't done multi-class racing before.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the fastest category to race in.
Well, look, I mean, coming off ACC, I'm not going to run GTD. It's GT3, right? So I don't want to do that. I could probably do LMP2. Then I'm like, close enough. Like let's just throw it down. Let's try it out. So I got to figure out if I want the Cadillac or the BMW, and I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy the tracks and start practicing things.
So let me offer you a recommendation.
Okay.
If you're gonna do that, pick. I actually don't know if they actually have the fixed format now that they have 2 GTPs in iRacing now.
Okay.
But if they have a fixed format for one of the hypercars, you buy that car, and you get fast in the fixed format. Because when you get to the IMSA racing, where the format where you could use a setup that you could get from VRS or something like that, if you can drive that car in the fixed series quickly and safely, you can drive it with a setup quickly and safely.
Gotcha. We can do that.
Yeah, that right there, Blaze, is what I'm interested in. I'm really interested in that LMP3 fixed series. Mainly because if I'm ever going to be somebody who races, I'm definitely going to drive the dentist car, because I'm basically just not a professional at anything. So that's going to be probably where I'm at for sure. I would love to do AMS too, and I do believe you guys have some American open wheeler, which I love in that game.
Yeah, it's basically it's a quote unquote IndyCar season coming up here soon for those guys.
Man, that's probably on a day of the week I can't race, I bet. Because basically anytime I want to race in something, it's on a day of the week I can't race in.
I don't know when the AMS2 kicks off. I'm not sure about that. I haven't seen too much about it except within that group.
See, Friday nights, man. God, I can't win. It's just because I've got way too much going on. Like, I need less hobbies, Molson.
That's what it is.
I feel your pain.
That's what it is.
Hard to find time right now.
So Thursdays, the thing with me, it's like Wednesday or like Tuesday through Friday is kind of like no man's land because of like work related stuff. So, but if you end up doing it Thursdays after recovery drive, that might be late enough I could pull that off.
There you go. See, can't get you on recovery drive though, which is upsetting. But
unfortunately, man. But what I do love about recovery drive is that I can basically load the Twitch app on my phone while I'm on the way home. I just set it to audio mode and listen to you guys just be,
Oh, you missed a great show on Thursday. We talked all about drop rounds. We talked all about how Anderson likes to visit the pits frequently. We talked about a bunch of stuff. It was great. This coming week, we are going to talk about the end of the season. And pay attention to the Discord. There will be a message going out to folks as far as if drivers from the season want to join us. Obviously, we can't have too many people on at the same time, because people talk over each other and it gets confusing. But what we can do is we can have the regulars that are always there, and then bring drivers in and out to talk about their season. So pay attention for that message coming out on the Discord during the course of this week. Looks like Charlie Booth Retro Coffin now, as I catch back up here. Gonna make a run together. And given that they're both Porsches, it's a little hard to tell who's who there, except Charlie Booth nudging Coffin. Little door bang. And Charlie Booth will take up P6 over Retro Coffin right here with 4 minutes and 47 seconds left to go.
I'm telling you, man, Charlie Booth is just doing something.
He is a savage.
Right now. He is doing something. This is a guy right here who is not leaving anything to a drop round to decide. He is trying his best to score every point he can scrape off the floor.
He has run it out now, and
Tom Foose is about to make a move, I'm thinking. That margin is very small, and they are going into Sector 2 right now. They were neck and neck into Lacombe. Here's the thing, Blaze. I don't make the rules. Like, I didn't box the points up. I didn't put them on the shelf. Somebody knocked them into the floor. I don't understand any about what happens. I just watch the race, say words over the top of it.
Yeah.
You guys seem to keep me around for some reason. Gasolina, Sector 2, it does seem like the Porsche is able, the Porsche is really able to use that agility that the Porsche is known for and pull a gap on the M4 a bit.
He did open that right back up, so. What is he even, Phil, I don't even know what he's talking about points on the floor.
I made a comment about him scraping points off the floor, and Blaze is like, why are they on the floor? I was like, well, somebody's messy. And they just decided to scatter points everywhere.
Right.
But, man, let me tell you, this fight between Gaz and Tom Foose is really letting Fife pull away.
Yeah, he is. He's opened that way up now. And Foose, wow, Foose wants to tighten it way up going into the bus stop.
Yeah.
I think a good launch out of radio, and he might make his move this time.
I'm thinking Gasolina has done something very naughty to his rear tires, because that traction that he was trying to get out of the bus stop, it looked like, and look at the slide from the Porsche on the exit of La Source. Like, he's just got no rear grip whatsoever. Which is,
which chance now coming out of here. It's quite close, which he was not on the previous lap, but
that's what I'm saying. It looks like Foose got the launch this time out of radio, and he's coming up alongside. But he's got the outside line, not quite there this time into Lacombe. That said, this will be the penultimate lap of this final race of the season. Given the time that was on the clock, Fife should be able to get one more started.
Charlie Booth is 1/10 away from Dimitri Othwal. Othwal showed some blistering pace to set the fastest lap of the race, and then the tires just went away from him. And it has been Booth and Retro Coffin really kind of setting the pace for the field. Tom Foose is 2/10 away. 2/10 away.
Trying to we go. Bounce between these two battles here coming into the last lap of this race.
All right, so this is the setup right now. So we're getting ready to go into Campos and Stavlo. Gasolina needs a very good exit out of here because it is a straight line shot down to Blanchimont. So he needs as much of a gap as possible.
Wow, he got his launch.
Nowhere.
He got his launch.
Nowhere.
And there goes Tom
exit.
Foose.
He got it nowhere. Go ahead, sir.
Nice move.
Nice pass. Foose had an excellent launch coming out of there.
Yep.
Able to push Gaz to third. Dimitri Athwal still under pressure from Booth and Coffin. There we go. It is Brandon Pfeiffer on the final lap. Go ahead.
It just looks like Gaz just has no rear grip.
Yeah, he's kind of falling behind now.
And Dimitri Athwal kind of... Oh, no! Coffin and Booth come together. That is unfortunate.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Let's grab that and go back.
Now,
time
was
to take
Lewis
those 30
Rickard close
seconds.
enough to capitalize?
Retro Coffin there. Charlie Booth just ahead of him. Or, I'm sorry, just ahead. And Retro with a tap from the rear.
I wonder. So the thing is that Booth's car was kind of doing the slip slidey thing it does when we're noticing some network lag. I'm kind of curious if he got net coded a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he tapped him, but at the same time, that's a hard call.
There seemed to have been a little bit of a gap when they were turning. It doesn't make sense to have that touch from behind, right? Given the gap that there was, so probably some net code.
I mean, I'm guessing here. Like, I would need to go and see the replay for sure, but it definitely looked like Coffin was not close enough to make the move. And then on the entry into the bus stop, it just looked like Charlie's car was just doing this weird moving through the corner diagonally thing that it does sometimes. Brandon Pfeiffer. Let me tell you what. If this isn't an upgrade statement, I don't know what is. Right?
I agree with you 100%.
I mean,
look at this.
Let's take into consideration the pace of everybody relative to qualifying, even the people that qualified ahead of Fife. But Brandon Pfeiffer has not been slow today.
Not at all. And there it is. Your winner of the Spa Endurance, Brandon Pfeiffer. Tom Foose Gasolina will round out the podium as they come across the line. John Gray in 4th. And Charlie Booth is now yellow flagged. Okay, he's good. Making sure. Poor little feller. John Gray, Dimitri Athwell, Retro Coffin, Charlie Booth comes across the line. We wait for Lewis Ricard, Anthony Anderson, Iridian Lloyd Davis will round out your top 10 for this race. Wow.
What a race. It was definitely not what we were expecting after quali.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Just an absolutely fantastic race for these guys. For some of them, not so much for others, right? Things got a little crazy. But as we watch things finish out here now, the top 10 is set. Iridian Lloyd Davis comes across the line to fill out the top 10. Jace Wright right there, though. Rob Kesar, Stephen Tomazik, Jarrett Skinner, Josh Butler, Edward Walsh already across the line along with Christoph Hartz. Tobias Gable still looking to finish this race. P21. Man. Just rough for TG. Very rough race.
There's B5 with the raid.
B5 with the raid. Congratulations to Mr. Brandon Pfeiffer. What a race today, sir. Great run. That was fantastic. And Gaz in the chat, tire wear on the Porsche.
That man left the pits with dancing shoes and showed up in flip-flops
yes,
at the end.
Did. Great race though, guys. Overall, like really well put together. I think we finished the season strong for season 6, and season 7 is going to come back even stronger. I am just waiting right now to really, you know what? Let me go ahead and do a few things. A little housekeeping. We're just waiting at this point. We needed the results of this race to have the final draw wheel for the draw. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a thing. Right here live on stream. I'm going to do as much as I can live. I don't want to do too much live because then it'll get weird and people can see passwords and weird stuff. But here we are. SimTrack USA, right there it is. That's the dashboard, guys. For those of you who haven't gone and looked, I did put the link in the chat a few times, but that's the dashboard. That thing is sexy, right?
Thank you.
It is. It looks really good. Like it doesn't look. I've seen some of the 3D prints that people sell on Etsy, and just put
No,
together.
there's this is full
That's what I'm
carbon
saying.
fiber plate in the front,
Mhm.
CNC machine, aluminum on the back, anodized black. Yeah, there's no plastics here.
Awesome.
It's like the real deal.
Awesome. So what I am going to do is I wait for what's that?
It's good quality then.
It is. And
Sure.
that's what I'm saying. Like you see some of those builds that people do with 3D printers and PLA, and I do myself. I want to do 3D printing, but I would never think to try and sell something like this. I don't think, it takes a long time to put this together. And it's not just, again, as you said, Jose, it's carbon fiber. It's this stuff. It's not just plastic. It's not just PLA fiber elements or PLA plastic elements that you're putting together. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to buy one of these.
There you go.
Because I want to buy one.
Thanks.
I want a dashboard. I do. I want a dashboard. So I'm not going to do all this live on stream, because if I do that, it'll be bad. You guys don't want to see my account information, but I can't do that. So let's jump back
Man,
over here.
I had the
I am gonna
clipboard
drop
ready. I had the clipboard
I know
ready.
you did. Do you want me to just give you my mother's maiden name and the 3 digits off the back of my credit card? Is that what you're looking for?
Maybe.
No, I'm
And
going
then
to
you
drop
get the
that
bank
order.
contacting you. Hey, there's some suspicious transactions. There's so many orders for this same product. What's going on with your account?
Oh,
First thing I'm gonna do, no lie, chat, no lie. If I got Molson's credit card information, the way he would know something had happened was when the UPS guy shows up with a year's supply of ramen noodles.
well, my kid will eat them, so that's fine. B5 in the chat says, I don't think I've ever had a race where so much went right. And to be fair, he's not wrong at all.
Fair.
But a good run, Fife. Excellent job, man. It wasn't just about the incident that happened in Lacombe. It was also about you pushing and getting past the people you needed to get past. So this is really going to throw a wrench in things. If we look at pro Charlie Booth, but at the same time, I think Charlie Booth's going to take this from Tobias Gable, of course, points wise, right? Now we do have drop round. But Booth is going to drop a 9th place finish. 5 or 1, whichever. Tobias is going to drop an 11th. So again, Booth is not going to lose, or Booth is going to lose more points than Tobias. So, you know what I mean? This is what we were talking about, Phil, about drop rounds.
This is where the drop round gets spicy.
Yeah, real spicy.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. With the drop round making it spicy, this is something you and me talked about ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in pro is going to get this thing decided by a drop round because of a missed start.
True.
This is all down to these are your best scores, period. End of story. Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Did we see Skinner on track today?
Skinner did start the race.
Did he? Okay. I want to make sure. I couldn't remember. Yeah. So, I mean, Charlie Booth, Tobias Gable, really this drop round's going to go crazy. Huff Manic in the chat saying they're working on the stuff now, on the results. The results are, and everybody has to remember, these results that we talk about today are very, very provisional. I'm hoping he's going to get me the wheel soon, because I want to give away some prizes. And we can talk about results later, because they're going to be incident reports. It's going to take until recovery drive to really go through the results, I think. Even provisional results today, I don't even know if I even want to review them, just because I don't know if I want to, just because, again, incidents are going to get reported, and it's going to change a lot of things, so you never know. But I'm waiting for Huff to get me the wheel. We're going to give away some stuff. So again, we're giving away that same dashboard you just saw, that you guys just saw. I'm going to order from SimTrack USA, right? I'm going to pull one of these down for myself. We're giving one of those away today, a $250 value. We're giving away a Next Level Racing HF 8 haptic feedback seat. So like, this is crazy. Like, this is the great stuff today. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this out.
Wouldn't it be sweet to win both of them?
Wouldn't it though? It would. No, unfortunately, actually, we can't do that. Nobody can win both.
Fair enough.
Nobody can win both. Because, what are you doing here? Put the phone number up. I did a thing. Everybody ignore my phone number, please. I doxed myself. We'll take that away. Yeah.
Can't wait to pull that from the VOD.
I know, that's gonna be fantastic, isn't it? I'm sure I'll be getting texts for days now from everybody with autofill because it dumped it in there. I said I wasn't going to do it and I did it. But no, I'm waiting for this wheel. We're going to give away this stuff. And to your point, Jose, nobody can win both, unfortunately, because the person who wins the first prize, I'm going to take their name off the wheel. So
that's good. I think that's fair, you know. Although probably very, very small chance of winning both. You got to be very lucky.
Very, very lucky.
Go play the lottery.
I like how Blue was a raider from B5, implying that he was not watching us, Phil.
I'm not offended.
I'm slightly offended.
I'm not offended.
Slightly, just a little bit offended. Just a little bit offended. That's okay. So come on, Huff. Give me the wheel, Huff. That's all I want, buddy. I need the wheel, my man. Because I have to go cook chicken. Wife's gonna come down and yell at me, and I don't want to get yelled at today. Yesterday was the day for yelling. I don't want to get yelled at today. Jose, how do you feel? Let's talk about this for a minute. I mean, you said you started this back. I mean, really, it kicked off back in November, right? Around about November, end of last year.
Yep.
Just in general, of course, I don't want any proprietary information or anything. Like, how's it been going so far? Have you guys been? I mean, do you feel like it's been successful so far?
Like I said, we've been lacking on the marketing, advertising department. We're not good at that, and it's two of us. It's me and my friend who's the co-founder. That's it. There's no like marketing department behind these. We put these units together ourselves. Like we manufacture them, obviously, like the PCB and that kind of stuff. It's manufactured, but the parts get shipped to our house, and we assemble it. We have to do the final assembly. So I have to sit down and spend quite a good amount of time to put them together. So yeah, we've lacked some advertising and marketing to get the word out, because people, if you don't get the word out, people just don't know the product is, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what I've been trying to work on the last few days, month. So yeah, we have not sold many units. I don't have a specific number, but it's definitely not been like, oh, it's a hit, it's a success, we're getting rich. That's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's more of like I think I said that on the beginning of the stream. Kind of like a fun project, something that we do because it's like sim racing. We are sim racers. We race and have fun, and we enjoyed building the product, and we're doing it out of like fun. It's not like I'm looking to make this my main income stream or like get rich or anything like that. It's not even close. Like right now, we've put way more money on this than we've gotten back in profit, like on the water. Essentially, if that's the technical name for that. So yeah, right now it's just pure investment. Have fun with it. And hey, even if it doesn't succeed, I had fun building the product. Like even if it doesn't take off and I sell like thousands of units, I won't regret it. I had fun. I learned. I enjoyed it. I mean, I still enjoy it. Putting the units together and like I said, testing the unit and building the graphic UI and playing around with all the settings and whatnot on Team Hub, making it work for different cars. It's just like a fun thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I did not go into it with the mindset of let's make money, if that makes sense. It was more of like, hey, I enjoy doing this. Let's go do it.
Nope, no, I get that 100%. It's a passion, right? And so it's a passion. You're ready to throw down on it and keep going. So now you said you're going to be joining season 7, and remind me again what car did you look at?
So I've been driving the BMW, the M4 for quite a while. Although I'm keen on giving it a try to the new Lambo, so I'll have to make a decision on that. But yeah, I definitely want to join next season. Being present on today's stream kind of got the bug on me again to join a league and not just do some random racing when I can. So I'm gonna try and commit to that.
Awesome. Well, we will be looking for you as that season kicks off again, guys. 24th qualification opens. It will close up on August 4th or whatever it is. Make sure you get your quali laps in. Once it'll be announced on the Discord. Go get those quali laps in because we're going to need it. Blue is very excited, Jose, by the way, in the chat. Your boy Blue is very excited to have you back on track. So let's go. Let's bring it. We'll be watching for you, that's for sure, here between myself and Phil and whoever else might join us. Guys, again, let's talk about Recovery Drive coming up this Thursday. And Phil, TG is looking for his pit stop time.
Let's see if the app has saved the data from the race. I will
Should
try
be.
and hook you up with that.
Hasn't even disconnected yet, so should be good.
Let's take a look.
But anyway, while Phil's looking that up, Recovery Drive hits on Thursday evening. I will be putting out an announcement on the Discord. If any of you drivers would like to join us, please do. I will set something up because, again, we can't have 20 people all talking at once. We'll try and pull drivers in and out, as we go through it. So anybody who wants to join that, we will get that going. 201.6 for TG. Fantastic. Blue, I feel at this point, Blue, that you're slowing things down.
No. He's supervising.
That's what
it
called.
is.
That's what that's called.
That's what he's doing. He's supervising. It's like if it wasn't for him able to like talk and chat and not do the thing, like he wouldn't give room for the people to do the thing.
Do the thing, right? Yeah. I get it. I'm communicating. Yeah, he's not. I'm communications. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dump over there real quick just so I can go check on some stuff.
Insert every like Office Space reference now right here.
Sorry to cut you off. By the way, Blue, it is a Cuba livery, so you got that right. I'm surprised you remember. By the way, it's been quite a few seasons since I ran that livery.
He doesn't know. It was a guess.
Oh, he got it right. He got it right.
It was a guess. I guarantee it was a pure guess. There's
no way he guessed that.
And don't believe him when he says he's in communications. Him communicating is just yelling at a wall until he thinks it's going to listen. So, no, a great season this season. I think it's fantastic that we've gone so well. Oh, okay, that's for work. I can wait. I think we had a great season. I think we're going to come back even stronger for season 7. Xbox is coming back at the same time. Xbox has stuff running right now, multi-class, and we've got iRacing FF 1600 starting very soon. There's going to be a GR. I think I saw Adam in chat say after that comes a GR86 season, which is that GR86 is a lot of fun. That's a sporty little fun car to play, to drive in iRacing. And we are building that IMSA season to run through the winter. So a ton of stuff going on. And I gotta let Blue and those guys know, like, there's only so much talking I can do to keep people entertained here until I get the wheel to give this stuff away, guys. Add a point to everybody who was there. 1, 2, 3 gets more points. Give me the link. I think it's Blue. I really think it's Blue's fault.
Are they doing GR86s after the Formula Fords? That's going to be fun.
I believe so.
For
yeah.
anybody that can use their way back machine to remember when we were doing Beer League. Like if you want the closest fun you're going to get in iRacing to Beer League, get in that GR86 league. 100%.
Yeah, that thing's a sporty little vehicle, so I like driving that. Give awards out. Fife, but see, Fife, that's the problem. I can't give any prizes out right now. Because Blue has screwed it all up. So we're going to blame him. Or Jose's sitting here going, I just want to go eat dinner. Bill, same thing. Just say, I want to go eat. Like, I got to go cook something. I'm waiting for my wife to text me going, where are you? Like,
I did all the cooking before the stream.
I mean, I don't eat. Like, after the stream's over, like, I just turn the camera off and just sit in the chair and wait for the next race.
Well, true.
Just how I roll.
Yeah, but see, look at Blue in the chat. That's okay. That's part of the communications job. Good. When the text comes through, I will hand my phone to you, and you can communicate why I'm still here, Blue, and see how that works out for you. I know how it would work out for me. Fife is saying the Send It Award, the most improved award, driven the worst car all season award. That's a lot asking me to remember stuff.
I'm gonna be a nice guy and hit Fife with one award, but it's not going to target anybody who drove the worst car all season in this series. The worst car I've driven all series is my Honda Fit, because that's my daily driver that I have to commute to work in. So that's where I'm going with that one. But man, as far as like most improved, I mean, it's kind of hard to not go with the back half of a Retro Coffin season.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely going to be in there for me. Terry Driscoll, I thought, also had a really good recovery this season. Didn't like fight for any kind of like podiums in the category. It's just like when you compare back half and front half, or front half and back half of the season, you can definitely see there was a moment where there was some improvements. Send It Award? Sheesh. I don't know, man. That one's a tough one. I'm trying to remember a pass that was just like really out there this season for me. But I don't normally think of races in terms of like a single pass. I'm usually thinking races in terms of what I'm seeing from pit wall. So that one I don't think I can provide right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I do have provisional results on SimGrid, but I don't know that I want to talk about them. I don't
get hopes up.
they're going to be we saw incidents. We know there were incidents. So I don't know that I want to put these out there. I mean, the drivers can go and look. They say provisional. If anybody wants to go look at them themselves, they can. I just don't know that I want to discuss them here when I'd rather wait for incidents to come in, be reviewed, get the points square, all of that. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Did we lose Huff? What happened to Huff?
I think
I'm so confused right now.
How so?
Well, I'm waiting for these guys. They gotta give me Blue. I need Blue to DM inbound. There it is. Okay, I think I got it. Hold on. I'm gonna erase you guys. There we go. Hold on.
I just want to say that in the provisionals, if silver ends up being determined by that many points, like that's huge.
All right, this is gonna be fun.
There we go. Let's go. All right. So what's first? Let's go ahead and let's give away this SimTrack USA dashboard from Mr. Jose himself.
All righty.
You count it down, Jose. You tell me when to click the button.
All right, I'm gonna count from 3. All right. So when I hit 0, go for it.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. 0, 2.
Oh, you said you said when I hit 0, so you said 0. I thought you were skipping it. Oh, and there it is. Skinner.
Skinner.
Just skeeked over to Skinner.
An absolute
just barely.
hair.
Tristan Jonendijk about pulled that, but Jarrett
Talk
Skinner
about close.
gonna pull that down for that SimTrack USA dashboard. Awesome. That was really close. We remove him. He's out. And next up is the Next Level Racing HF8 haptic seat. Let's spin that up real quick. Skinner pulls down that dashboard. And let's throw it around here. Where's it going? Pack winners on Zwanenberg.
Oh yeah.
Zwanenberg didn't show up to the last round, but
not
definitely
come to the
came
last
away
round.
with a win.
Yes, he did. That Next Level Racing haptic seat will go to Zwanenberg. So there it is, guys. After a long season, a great season. I want to thank a lot of people real quick, if I may. First, Jose, I want to thank you for joining us today. Again, like you said, it was your first time.
Guys.
Thank you again for sponsoring the season. And I'm going to get my order in here before the end of the evening. You should see that come through. And hopefully I get that.
Please make sure you
super fast
put
ship.
Skinner in touch with me so that I can get, the goodies out to him.
Okay.
As soon as
Sounds
I can.
good.
So
This was a lot of fun, Jose. Thank you for being here with us.
thanks to
you
you
so
guys.
much, man.
This means a lot. I really enjoy it, and it definitely helps to get the word out. So I really, really appreciate what you've done today.
Absolutely, man. And not only that, I want to thank Phil. You are a great partner to have in this, and we have some conversations to have this coming week because I want things to go a certain way, and I think we're going in that direction, and you are the man, the myth, the legend himself. So thank you very much, and hopefully we have many more races to do together. Thank you to Anderson. Thank you to Blue for setting up this season. Those guys manage it. They run it. Thank you to the stewards. And last but not least, thanks to the drivers. Because if you guys don't show up, we don't have a league.
We don't have anything.
Broadcast. Yeah. So thank you to the drivers. Again, last but certainly not least in any way, shape, or form. Thank you to Next Level Racing for their sponsoring of the season as well. Guys, have a great week. Recovery Drive is here on Thursday for you. We're going to review everything at that point. And with that, to Phil, to Jose, to everybody watching, guys, thanks for a great season 6, and thank you all. And again, we'll talk to you on Thursday. Get ready for qualification. It's coming for season 7. Oof. Get ready. Thanks, guys. Everybody have yourselves a great night and a great week. We'll see you Thursday.
See you, everybody.